right away, I heard sirens everywhere, from the left, from the right, everywhere. And I'm like, this is it. I already expected this. They're going to be here in the next couple of minutes, but we got it. I know like 90%, we're done. This is it. We got him. We're going to escape. That's it. We got him.
Okay, so I'm really excited about this one. This is the inside story of one of the wildest heists I've ever heard about, and I've done stories on heists. So, a fake AK-47, a blow-up doll, a motorized skateboard. This is all part of a plan to rob a casino. And it's really, when I was reading your story, it really sounded a lot like an Ocean's 11 plot. So Adnan Alisic, I pronounced it well. So Adnan Alisic, welcome to the Hidden Third. Okay, so you grew up in Bosnia, right?
Yes.
And tell me about that. And it was during the war.
Yes, I was growing up in Bosnia when the war started, I was about 11, 12 years old. And as most of the people know what was happening during that time, the world hasn't seen since the Hitler time, and especially me as a kid, I was what happened in my city of Banja Luka. It was actually considered the biggest prison in the world because nobody could get in or get out. And
so it was a siege around it, is it?
It wasn't a siege. It was because it was a Serb-occupied, basically controlled city. It wasn't like Sarajevo where it was a siege.
Yeah,
but it was Serb-controlled city. So in the beginning stages of the war, basically all the Muslims were either kicked out, killed, or just taken to concentration camps. Wow. And in my case, what happened? There were checkpoints, especially in the beginning stages of the war, checkpoints. And if you go outside, you get stopped by the police or military. They check your ID. If you're Serb, they let you go. If you're Muslim, they basically just pull you over, take you to the station, and you disappear. And what happened with me and my parents were basically, we were hiding in the house. But me as a kid, when I would go over there, I would get stopped by the police at the checkpoint, and I would just tell them, I would just have the made-up lies, give them the Serb name, all that stuff that they need, mother's name, father's name, address.
All fake.
And they would, obviously, all fake. And as a kid, I wasn't obligated to carry an ID, so they would just let me go, And that's basically how we were surviving. I would go to the city, go to the market, buy stuff, buy something cheap, sell it, make some money, buy food, take it back home. And that's basically how we survived.
So you weren't going to school or anything? You were like 10, 11?
In the beginning, I was going to school. And after that, basically quit. And I was working at the market.
Because you needed to?
Yeah. Yes.
So it was ethnic cleansing, essentially, was what was happening?
Yes.
Did you know anyone who died during the war? Anyone close to you?
Yeah, a lot of my family from my mother's side, because my mother's family was from city of Predor. In my city basically, my family, they left right before, because a lot of those people, they knew in the beginning, some of those, especially more influential people who knew what was happening, they left. They managed to escape in the beginning stages of the war. But after that, they closed everything. And especially in my city, nobody could, if you're not Serb, it would be very, very hard to get it, except if you had a lot of money and obviously a lot of connections, so you can actually bribe somebody, Yeah.
And so what happened to them, to your mother's family?
Killed. They got killed. That's it. Some of them, they were fortunate enough to go outside, also escape. And some of them are in Sweden, Denmark, Germany right now. But majority of them basically got killed.
Wow. What was the worst thing you saw during the war?
I remember a little kid got killed by soldiers.
And you saw it?
Yes.
Is it somebody you knew or just somebody?
I've never seen it. Like it was like a small village. And I remember because what they would be doing is in my city, I told you I was buying and selling stuff. And what happened is my mother's city, Prijedor, which is about 40, 50 kilometers away. It's a smaller city. And over there, I found out that stuff that I'm selling in my city are like 3 times as much. I remember I was selling cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, for example, you buy a pack of cigarettes is selling, let's say, $3 in my city. And over there, I could sell it for about 10.
Mm.
And I'm like, you know what? All I have to do is just figure out a way to transport it from here to there, about 50 kilometers. I'm going to make much more money, And I remember I first I went over there. It would be a risky for me, if somebody catches me with cigarettes, especially soldiers, they're just going to steal. In the best case, just steal it from me, from a little kid, what are you doing with the cigarettes, And that was a high commodity during that time. I remember the guy was telling me he sold a cow for a pack of cigarettes, especially in Bosnia. They're crazy about cigarettes,
right? Huh.
So I went over there, and a couple of times. How I managed to do this is because the line, especially during this like middle of the war, it wasn't, nobody could go between those 2 cities except soldiers, and there was a train. I remember I figured out a way, like 9 o'clock every night. The train with the supplies, with military food and whatever, they would be taken to my city and then another city, Sansky Most, with the supplies, weapons, food, whatever they were taking. And how I managed to go over there, I would just, wait. I would wait away from the station. So nobody, because obviously there's no way I'm going to get on the train.
Right.
And those old trains, they go slowly. They need some time to catch up speed.
So cargo trains? Were they like cargo trains?
Yeah, like a box,
yeah.
Like that.
Cargo, yeah.
I remember what I would do, before they would even leave, I would go to the other side of the train and open up the, last box.
Yeah, with the cargo, yeah.
Yes, open it up and then move all the way around and go maybe 300-400 meters away and wait over there until it starts, rolling up. So as it goes, I would just run, put my bag inside, jump inside, and catch my, ride like 50, 60 kilometers away.
To that other city where you were trying to sell cigarettes. Yeah.
And then I would go to my family's house. Nobody was there. I mean, obviously they killed or kicked out everybody. Wow. And I would just spend the night over there. And in the morning, I would go to the markets, sell everything right away. I mean, and I was like, that was like my first, entrepreneur, like big seeing, how much money I could make, during that time. And during this time, one of those times, this is when I've seen that, on my way back, I did hitch the ride the same way.
You jumped on the train?
Yes. And what I've seen is a lot of soldiers. And I'm thinking, first thing that came to my mind was, maybe they've seen me or something.
They're trying to catch you. They've seen you jump the train,
For the first time. Because every single time they went straight through. And, I got scared. I jumped out. And what I've seen, those soldiers started, disembarking the train. Like maybe 50, 60 soldiers. And I'm like, for the first time, this never happened before.
Yeah.
And going there's like a way through the forest. And I'm like, like now, obviously I'm scared. I don't know what's going on, And what I did, I started trailing behind him. Trailing behind him. It's
so you jumped off the train and you were following them to see what was happening. Yeah.
Yes. And about 10 minutes, and it's pitch black darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going behind, and complete quiet. They're not even talking.
Wow.
So I came over there, and for about 20 minutes, I'm just going behind them, jumping from tree to tree, just, so they don't see me.
Yeah.
And I remember, they came down the hill, and in this hill, there was like a small, like 5-6 houses. And over there were already soldiers with trucks.
Yeah.
Soldiers. Like maybe 2 or 3 trucks and, a couple of those Jeeps, and already maybe 20 or 30 soldiers. And outside, they put like maybe 15 or 20 people, like villagers, And what happened is, and I'm hiding behind the tree, and I can see everything. It's like a small valley, like maybe about 200-300 meters away.
Yeah.
And everybody met over there. They shook hands with those people, those soldiers who were already there. And I've seen they started screaming at those people. And it's like woman.
The civilians started.
Civilians. And I could see, scared.
Yeah.
Scared. And, those big flashlights on them. And they started, some of the women are crying, some of them, because but I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could assume they were probably looking for men of the village. And I only see maybe 2 or 3 old people, men. The rest of them are women and kids.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is started screaming for like 15, 20 minutes like this, talking to them. They smacked a couple of women out there. They started screaming, crying. And all of a sudden, they just stepped away, took the AK-47 and just started shooting.
Oof.
Just like that.
Oh. And
what happened is I've seen from one of the houses, I've seen all of a sudden, like some figure, I didn't even see who it was right away, started running towards me. And I told you, about 200-300 meters away. And this figure started running towards me. And, I'm looking, and those soldiers, they just, like nothing happened. They just killed 20 people, smoking, nothing, talking. And I've seen this figure, and as he's running towards me, I could see, a little kid running. Like, kid is maybe 5-6 years old.
Oh, that's so sad.
And he's running. I could see, he's coming towards me, and it's complete dark, only maybe the moonlight. That's basically how I can see. And over here, there's a lot of light on those people. Yeah. But behind, there's nothing. And this kid started running, and he's running towards me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know, and over there I'm frozen. This is the first time I've seen something like this. Even though I was in the war all the time, I've never seen anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Of course.
And the kid is running, and one of the soldiers seen him and started running towards him. Within like a couple of seconds, he grabbed him and took him back over there. And just, they were kind of playing with him, took out the gun and blew out his head.
Oh my God.
That's it.
You saw this?
Yeah.
So it was a massacre. You witnessed a massacre.
Yeah.
They killed everybody in that village.
Everybody. And a couple of minutes later, they tossed everybody in the backs of the trucks, and like nothing happened.
Was this ever reported? Did this ever make the news?
Obviously, a lot of it was reported, especially around this area. Yeah. What they would do is there's a mine over there close by in this area, maybe like a couple of kilometers away. It's called Omaska. Mm-hmm. And over there are thousands. They would be just dumping bodies over there.
Wow.
And even right now, they're saying it's very hard to take it out because the pit is so deep. It's very hard for them to dig. They're claiming right now there's thousands of people out there.
Wow.
But
bodies.
It's hard to get them out to actually
identify,
bury them the way they're supposed to be.
Oh my God. What did you do after that? Did you get back on the train? What happened?
Yeah, I went back. I ran back because, after everything, they packed everything together. Those soldiers with the truck went one way, and those soldiers on that came from the train, they started walking towards me. And I remember I kept watching this frozen as a kid, and I'm like, for the first time, I just froze like this. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
How old were you, Adnan?
About 13, 14 years old, maybe.
Wow.
And what happened is those soldiers are walking towards me, and I'm stuck over there. And at one moment, I just snapped, jumped up, and I started running towards the train. And I remember there's no way, I'm coming onto the train, I'm just, I remember I hid next to the train. I came to the front of the train, and I hid over there. And I watched those people. And I felt so much hatred. I'm like, for the first time, I remember because always, when I try to process this, for the very first time, I remember, watch them, go inside. And they have, in the trains, they have those lights so I can see them through the windows. And I remember, I watched those people like nothing happened, like part of the job. They just killed like 20 people, 30 people, kids and women. And like, they're going to go home. They're going to go to their kids. They're going to go to their wives. And, like nothing happened. And I remember this, like, the train started going. And I watched those people. And just, like, helpless. I cannot do anything. And this feeling, I can never forget this feeling. Like, for the first time, I remembered the way those suicide bombers feel. For the very first time, because you see all of those people, they did this, and there's nothing you can do. And me, as I said, so much hatred inside. I would just go inside, strapped with obviously with a bomb onto me, go inside and just look at them, and just pull the plug and kill everybody, including myself. Because there's nothing, obviously, there's nothing, you're so helpless, even though you want to do something, but there's nothing you can do. Nothing.
Do you think you had sort of survivor's guilt at that moment?
Obviously. Yeah. I mean, if there was something I could, do to help this boy, I don't know. But, I was frozen there by myself,
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything you could have done. You would have been killed as well.
Yeah. And as I said, that was the first time, even though there was a lot of things happening in my city, it was, as I said, it was Serb-controlled city. This thing wasn't happening. Like on the other city, for example, in Sarajevo, where I live right now, there were, snipers, people getting killed. Yeah. But in my city, it wasn't like that openly, because they controlled the city. And if something like this happening, you could see during the night, like mosques blown, but that was happening during the night, not during the day, and not openly, not openly. Because if somebody, for example, you would see, like, they would just snatch people during the night, but nobody sees that.
Right.
No, and in other cities, it was open. And all this, during the war, I heard those stories, but I didn't want to believe it, because I never witnessed anything personal. Right. And this was the first time I've seen something like this.
Wow. That is so traumatizing to all of it.
Yeah.
Here's a fun thing that happens. When you host a podcast, brands send you things to try. Timeline sent me their supplement MitoPure a few weeks ago. I gave it a shot, and I'll be honest, I actually felt a difference. More energy, better strength. Now I'm kind of hooked. Here's what stood out to me. Once you hit your 30s, you start losing muscle mass every decade. I already work out, I eat a lot of protein, I take the usual supplements, but none of that matters if your cells aren't functioning properly underneath it all. And as we age, the mitochondria, basically the power source inside your cells, start to decline. That impacts strength, recovery, and the overall resilience. Timeline has spent over 15 years and invested more than $50 million studying this. MitoPure is designed to support your body's natural process of clearing out damaged cellular components and renewing them. That's the key difference here. In a clinical trial, participants saw a 12% increase in muscle strength in just 4 months without changing their exercise routine. The way I see it, muscle health isn't just about building more. It's about improving how your body powers what you already have. I'm definitely sticking with it. Timeline's clinically proven MitoPure is now available at a lower price. It starts at $79 when you subscribe at timeline.com/Mariana. That's timeline.com/Mariana.
And then eventually you managed to leave and come to the United States when you were 17 years old, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you came with your parents and your whole family?
My mom, my dad, and my sister.
And you went to Phoenix, is that right?
I went straight to Phoenix.
Why Phoenix?
They chose that for us. I mean, we didn't have any choice. They just basically tell you you're going over there, and
this is
we
the
didn't
city.
have anybody. I didn't know anybody. I during that time I didn't even speak the English.
Right, you didn't speak a word of English at the time.
And
right?
I remember during that time it was very hard, because they they sent me to school. And during this time, they, I didn't speak any English. And I remember I sat in the back of the class and I just prayed for teacher not to call me. What am I going to say,
Yeah. And then you started working at the hotel. Is that right? That was your first job?
Yes. Obviously, you have to start low at the bottom.
Yeah.
Low paying jobs, like housekeeping, stuff like that. I worked like this for about 2 years, managed to save up some money, and I always liked working with cars.
Yeah. Wait, before that, your mom at the time, your mother was also working at a DoubleTree, right? She was the cleaning lady at the DoubleTree, or cleaning rooms at the DoubleTree. And so you were doing a little bit of that as well. You were doing other sort of low-paying jobs.
Yeah, I was doing that. During this time, I was basically going to school. I remember I was going to school from 7:30 to like 3.
Okay.
And then from 4 to 12, I was working at this hotel.
Wow.
Yeah, I was doing that for about almost 2 years.
And that's the DoubleTree, or
yes.
a DoubleTree.
DoubleTree.
And then you said you always loved cars. So you started a car business. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I saved up some money. I got paid for the dealer's license, find small, cheap office. And that's how I started. I remember I didn't have a lot of money. So I had to, I would go to the auction, buy like $300 or $400 car, clean it up. I mean, it's like a junker, it looks bad, but as long as, engine is good, transmission is good, I'm going to sell it. And that's how I started, basically. Buy it, clean it up a little bit, something minor. If it needs to be fixed, I would fix it and sell it for maybe $900, $1,000. And that's how I started making money.
And did you always like cars? Did you know what you were doing?
Yes. I mean, obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. But, I was learning, as I went.
And what was your dad doing at this point?
He was also working. He was working at some company, obviously, some, low, level job. Like, because when people come, especially as refugees, that's what they get, whatever you can get.
Yeah. And then your business started to grow. You started selling more cars. How did that go?
Yes. What happened is, obviously, first, I would be buying those cheap cars, sell them, clean them up, fix them up. And then as I started making more and more money, I would be buying, more expensive cars. And like this, I was working like this for about a year and a half, and everything was going great. Yes. But, once everything starts going great, and especially once you start making money, and I had also during this time, I had some free time on my hands, because I remember I would be going Thursday, I would go to the auction, buy cars. Then Friday, I would bring them to the office, clean them up, fix them, just minor things. And over the weekend, I would sell all of them.
Wow. And was it just you, Adnan, or did you have somebody working?
Yeah, only me. And then I have basically like 3 or 4 days free, because most of the cars I would sell over the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're gone.
How much money were you making a week, more or less, at this point?
I would be making, I would buy by myself maybe 6-7 cars, and cheap cars. I didn't even need a lot of money to start off. I would buy cars for $400-$500, maybe invest $100 to $200 and sell them maybe for $1,000, make $400-$500 on each car, 7-8 cars a week, like $3,000-$4,000 a week,
Yeah.
And that was good money compared to, I was making maybe $1,400-$1,500 a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you started with the free time.
With the free time, I started gambling. That's what happened.
Well, but it's interesting. I was reading how you had never really gambled before. It wasn't something you hadn't had access to a casino.
Never.
And what was your first visit to the casino like when you first visited a casino?
What happened is one of my friends just came back from Vegas, and he was telling me, gambling, this and that, blackjack. And I'm like, and that was, a couple of weeks ago, I remember that. And I'm like, I didn't even pay any attention. I don't care about that. I was, focused on my business, and that's it. And one day, how it started is friends of mine, they were, all of them, because usually on the weekend, we would gather together and we'd go outside, to the bar, to the coffee shop, stuff like that. But this time, all of them went to like over the weekend, a small, like 2 or 3 day vacation to San Diego, from Phoenix to San Diego. And they obviously invited me. I told them, I got to take care of the business, especially over the weekend is the busiest time for me. And I'm cruising all by myself at night and what to do. And I remember my friend's words when he was telling me about casino and gambling. And I'm like, okay, let me go check it out. And over there in Arizona, there are casinos only on Indian reservations. Mm-hmm. So first time I went over there, I remember it was a Salt River casino. Mm. Went over there. I just gambled for like about $300. I gave $300. And I gambled almost all night, back and forth. You win, you lose, you win, you lose. And at the end, I lost. Went back home and inside right away, I got to get it back. I got to get back those $300. So tomorrow I went back.
The next day you went back?
Yes.
Wow.
The very next day I went back. And I remember I played again and I won. That night I won. Mm. I walked out with those $300 back and a couple of $100 extra. Mm. And that's how everything started.
Oh, wow. And how much did you win the second time you went back?
Like a couple of hundred, not too much, but a couple of hundred.
So you started going every single day?
Not every, in the beginning, it starts slowly. Everything starts slowly. Like, you start first, it was like, I remember first back to back those 2 days. And then I waited. Then after a couple of days again. Mm. And then within probably 2 or 3 months, I was there on a daily basis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you realize at the time that this was an addiction, or what did you?
The gambling is a silent addiction, even though you don't wanna admit it to yourself. Mm. And when you mentioned that, a lot of people actually contact me about this, like because they know what I went through from all over the world. And I remember one guy, he messaged me on Facebook, and he said like, I need help. And I'm like, okay, how can I help you? And he told me basically he has a problem. He's gambling everything. And I told him, look, the best way is you gotta admit it. You gotta have those people close to you help you. Give them, credit cards, money, whatever. Give them access to that. And he said, and this is what he told me, like, I don't want to let anybody know. I mean, you gotta let people help you.
Right. It's called the silent addiction exactly because of that. Because when you're addicted to alcohol or drugs, usually it's very easy to tell. People around you can tell that you have this addiction. But with gambling, it's very hard. You can go years and years and no one realizes that you've got an addiction.
Yes.
But it's incredibly destructive.
Yes.
And then it's another interesting thing that I found out recently about gambling is I've done stories about gambling, as you know, but how you get the dopamine level, you get it, that dopamine hit, you get it whether you win or you lose.
Yes.
So it's you're constantly chasing that, and it's not only when you win. So even if you start losing everything all the time, you're still getting the dopamine rush.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when you mention silent addiction. That's basically what was happening with me. On the outside, everything looked normal. Everything. Like, I would be, because I managed to actually hide everything. And I could see myself in this guy. In the beginning, it was exactly like this. And I was telling him this from the personal experience. If you really want help, you got to let those people, you don't have to broadcast this to everybody, to the whole world. You have a problem. But, your wife, your brother, your sister, those people who care about you. And on the outside, I remember during this time, everything looked perfect on the outside. I had business, I managed, everything looked like and I was making money, especially during my, after I grew so big.
Because you started having people working for you as well, right? You grew into a big business.
Yes, I managed to open up a restaurant. I had a body shop next to my dealership, all that. But everything looks perfect on the outside. People are thinking, you're making money, you're managing all those people, you have all those businesses. But on the inside, there is like thousands of wars waging inside of you. Mm. Yeah.
Did your parents know that you were going to the casino every day?
No. No, I mean, the thing is, they knew if I went over, my sister knew if I went over there, but, not to the extent that how much I was gambling,
So tell me, at the peak of your gambling addiction, how much time were you spending at the casino and how much money were you losing?
I mean, I would be over there sometimes. I remember in the morning, I would drive my mom to work, drop her off. Casino was about 10 minutes away. Go to the casino, spend over there maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. Win or lose, then I would go to the office. And after office, I'm dead tired, like 7, 8 o'clock, all day working, managing things. And after work, to the casino wasn't closed. It's like maybe 40, 45 minutes away from my house, and like on a daily basis like this.
And you would go to the casino right after work again, and then you'd stay there until what time?
Like sometimes like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
And how much money were you losing? I mean, how much were you gambling?
Everything, basically everything. I remember, everything. I would sell a car and I would donate everything to the casino.
Mm-hmm. Were you constantly, what was going through your mind at this time? Were you constantly trying to figure out, I lost this money, the more money I'm losing, the more money I have to gamble because I have to make this money?
And that's that gambling mentality.
Right.
That's it. And I kept telling this to myself. All I have to do is win my money back. And I promised myself, once I win it, I promise I'm never going to step inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah. So there's sort of no rationality in play, right? Because it's a well-known thing. People know that because the house always wins, right?
Always wins. And that's one of the things. But me as a gambler and gamblers in general, and I still have friends. Mm-hmm. I still have one of my good friends. Whenever I talk to him, he still, he still gambles. He still, but he still believes that, he can get on top of them.
That he can win.
Yeah. Yes.
And so this was what you were like at the time.
Exactly.
You still believed that you'd be able to get that money back?
Yes. I always, because all I have to do is just because the thing is, casinos, if you go to the casino, mm-hmm. if you lose all the time, nobody would be going over there. But sometimes,
sometimes you win, yeah.
I remember like I would go over there dead tired and I'm sitting, my office is, like maybe 3 or 4 miles away from my house. And I go, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I would be over there all day from early morning all the way to night working. And I'm dry and I want to go home. Because I'm tired. I just want to go home, sleep and, wake up in the morning and go take care of the business. And I remember sitting at the light, you turn right, you go home, or straight go to the casino. Mm-hmm. And that tired. And I remember that voice inside my head starts telling me, okay, this is the night. Go. You remember that night when you walked in with 500, walked out with 20, which is right. You said
that happened.
That happened, yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't. I gotta sleep. And that voice always prevails. Go.
Wow. You had a girlfriend at the time, right?
Yeah.
Did she know to the extent of what you were spending?
She knew. She knew, and she also had problems in her family with that, and she knew what gambling does. Mm-hmm. And she would be, crying and, telling me all the time to stop. And, gambling is going to be opening the doors. This is why it's so destructive. Opening the doors to all other kinds of things. Like in my case, lying, I would be, lying, I would be in casino and obviously, I'm taking care of this, I'm in the bank, I'm at auction or I'm buying parts. Open the doors to all kinds of lies. And then you have to cover one lie with another lie. And then you're entangled in a big web of lies. You don't even know what's the truth. Yeah.
I mean, in your case, more than lies, it led to also the heist, which we will talk about in a second. So your parents didn't really know that any of this was happening. Did your father had an addiction as well, right?
No, not gambling. Maybe alcohol, but not gambling.
Yeah, I think I read it somewhere. So your father was...
Yeah, he was drinking.
a lot during when he was in U.S. or back in Bosnia?
In the even before, but before the war, yes. During the war, obviously there was you cannot be buying. Sometimes even during the war, he would take money that I would give to the mom and find ways to buy alcohol. But in the U.S. too, towards he found out what alcohol does towards the end. I remember maybe 1 or 2 years before I got arrested, and he one of the reasons he started is because doctor told him to
stop.
Yes,
drinking.
Yeah.
So he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
How did that affect?
I wouldn't say alcoholic, but borderline.
How did that have an effect on your life or your relationship with him?
Obviously it did. It did.
How so?
I mean, he was very abusive towards my mom. Very abusive. Yeah.
Like he hit her?
Yeah.
And you watched that growing up, or did that get worse in the U.S.?
Not in the U.S. They basically separated. In the U.S. they separated because of that. Yeah, but in the before the war and during the war.
And did you have a relationship with him while you were in the U.S., or was it mostly with your mom?
Yes. I mean, they separated, and I had a relationship. I had to take care of both of them. So I had a relationship with both of them. But obviously, because I've seen who's right, who's wrong, obviously I was always on my mom's side.
Do you think there's a connection between your dad's alcoholism or his borderline alcoholism and your gambling addiction?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I would love to say yes, but I could not see the connection.
And so you were hiding all of this from your mother. And then what happened? It was one day where everything changed, right? Where you decided that you needed to figure out a way to make your money back.
Well, what happened is there was, during my gambling, addiction, there were 2 stages. First, when I started all by myself, and I lost everything. And I remember at my lowest point, because I told you I would sell a car, go straight to the casino and gamble everything. And I sold all the cars, there's nothing. And I remember on my parking lot, I had about 11 cars. 11 cars, and all of them are non-working. I told you those are cheap cars. I bought buying for $300, $400. They're not, and $300 or $400 when they were running. And sometimes, it's a risk. When you go to the auction, sometimes you would buy a car and it runs, and after a couple of days, the engine blows up. And I had about 11 of those cars, and I just because of my gambling, instead of taking care of the business, try to fix them or sell them or whatever, they just kept sitting over there. And I gambled all the cars. I don't have any more money. Everything is done. I only have those 11 junkers, non-running cars. They're not even worth much. And I remember came to the night previously, I lost everything. I sold the car, lost it, came back home, slept a couple of hours, woke up, went to the office, and again, that gambling's mentality, you're like, how am I going to get the money? Every day was, before, okay, I'm going to sell this car, hustle, sell this car, take it. But right now, there's no cars to sell, at least running cars to sell. And I'm looking at those junkers, and nobody's going to buy those cars. If they're going to buy them, it's not worth $100 for a car. They're going to maybe give me $100.
Yeah.
And the only thing who would buy it is basically a junkyard.
Yeah.
And and it's a good car, just needs some fixes. Sometimes it's a major fix, sometimes it's minor, but it's not running. And I remember I picked up the phone and started calling junkyards.
Wow, to sell the car.
And I made a deal with a guy. He came over there. I gave him all the titles. I remember 11 cars for $1,100.
Oh my God.
Imagine. I took that money to the casino, gambled everything, couple hours.
And lost everything. And then how did you start again?
And how I started, and during that time, I told myself, I've seen, because basically I'm at the bottom. There's nothing. I was basically forced to stop gambling because there's no money. I don't even have money to buy myself, a meal.
Wow.
But when God wants to help you, he's going to find a way from unexpected sources. And this is how I started again. And I firmly, wholeheartedly, because I've seen what he did. And somehow I remember that feeling too, I woke up after I lost everything. I woke up and I'm relieved. I don't have to, be looking for the money. I don't have to be, finding ways to go gamble. And even though I didn't have anything, I felt relieved.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the office, even though there's nothing to but out of the habit. I went to the office, and this is what was happening with my office. It's like a building, and during the past couple of months, tenants kept leaving. Okay, and I'm in the office, and the owner of the building calls me, and I'm like, man, he's gonna be asking for the rent payment, and I don't have. I told you I don't have money for the meal.
Yeah.
Man, why am I gonna tell him? And I was always, most of the time I was paying him on time, And I'm like, so I picked up, he said, come to my office. And I'm like, I'm already, trying to find out why am I going to tell him. So I go over there, sit down, and started telling me, this and this, I sold this building, as you see, everybody's leaving. You're one of the last tenants here. And he said, the city is going to contact you. And I'm like, why are they going to contact? Because, this building is not mine anymore. I sold it to them. You got to deal with them now. And he said that they might give you some kind of deal. And he gave me the number. And I'm like, what about the rent? He said, don't worry, deal with them. I'm like, okay. So I called the number right away. And the guy knew who I was right. And I told you, I was one of the last tenants over there. And I called the guy and said, yes, as you know, they were building some kind of right rail in Phoenix during that time. And this building was supposed to be some kind of station. I said, yes, this, you have a contract with him, and he said, we see that you're eligible for relocation assistance.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay. So what do I have to do? No, nothing. Just give us, your contract, that you have contract over there. And since, as you know, we bought this building, you have to leave. I would leave anyway, because
you couldn't afford rent.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so what? Well, you're eligible for up to $25,000 in relocation. I'm like,
oh my God.
Okay. And that opened the door to everything. I gave him all the paperwork he needs. And I remember they gave me a couple of checks in stages, like $5,000. I have to give him the contract that, basically I had a contract to stay over there. And I asked him, I remember this, I asked him, okay, when do you guys want me to leave? And he said, you have 6 months. And I asked him, what about the rent? Don't worry about this. I'm like, so 6 months I could stay over there rent free and still, and they gave me the money. I remember they gave me first $5,000 and I started working slowly like this.
So you didn't go to the casino with those first $5,000?
No, I vowed, no more gambling. This is it. I'm done. Because I've seen what it did to me.
Right.
And this was like a blessing to me unexpectedly.
Right.
Unexpectedly, this money is coming to me. And I was like, I'm not gonna waste this chance again. I've seen what it does. I gambled I worked like a couple of years. I built everything up and I lost everything. And I'm not gonna let this happen again. And I remember I took this money. I found another much nicer place right next to the street, Main Street. And this is actually like a real car dealership. Before I had a small office, cheap. Like I was paying like $300 a month just for the license. I had to have it for the license. But right now I bought, like a real small dealership, like you can park maybe 30, 40 cars. And I got the lease over there and I remember, even though it wasn't too much, because they gave me like all together maybe about $25,000, but I had to spend a lot of money on lease. I had to spend some money on paying off the debts that I had. And I remember first time I got onto this new dealership, I bought it was 3 cars, and whole dealership. It was kind of an embarrassment. Whole dealership, only 3 cars. Grand opening, 3 cars on. and at the end of the day, like we opened on Friday and Sunday we sold all the cars and now grand opening, empty lot, no more car. But how, when God gives you blessing, I took that money and within 3 months, I had this whole lot filled up.
Wow.
Because, sell 3 cars, take the profits now. Next time you buy 4.
Right.
But take 4, now 5.
Yeah.
Within 3 months, like I had the whole lot was filled up.
Wow. What was it called, the dealership?
Alisic Motors.
Okay, your last name. So you started, in 3 months you had a full lot, you were doing really well. Is this when you also got in the restaurant business?
Yes, what happened during this, my whole business was like a socializing place. Friends would come over there, talk, see what's happening.
Was it a lot of from the Bosnian community that would come over? Yeah.
And right next door, there was a building, and the guy left, and I spoke with the owner, and they said, you can take it, I'm going to give you a good deal. And they gave me an idea. Okay, I'm going to open up the restaurant over there. So, because sometimes when customer comes, they come wait for the paperwork, or they're waiting for the cars to get fixed. I would just send them to the restaurant, just chill over there, So, it's like a convenience. And that's basically what happened, So I had this body shop, I had a car dealership, and I had this restaurant. And I didn't have a lot of money in the bank because it wasn't worth it. I was always, any businessman will tell you, you should not be keeping money in the bank. You should just,
be reinvesting
it in the business. So that's basically what I was doing. Just, if I had, that's why I grew so big. I would just, because money had no value to me. I would, if I had 10,000, I'm not going to keep it in the bank. I'm going to go buy a car, and that's basically how I was doing it. And then, this body shop, then the restaurant, and, I had all of those people that they depend on my business, because, I was paying them, and not only them, but their families depended on my business. And everything was going good during this time. Everything was going good. But again, that's what's dangerous about gambling. This is what I've learned. If you go even one time, it's basically like you've never left.
Yeah.
Like you've never left.
Yeah. In that sense, it's very much like alcohol or drugs, right? You can't just do it. I'll just do this one time, and it's the last time.
And when I mention this, it's not only like I mean it also in the literal sense, because I stopped gambling for about 3 years. And when you go to a casino on a daily basis, you see same people, same faces,
right?
And I remember after about 3 years when I walked into the same casino, it's like I never left.
Wow,
same people, same faces, and it's so sad. So those people, I know those people are wasting their lives, they're wasting their money, they're probably destroying their families, but they're still there.
Wow. Were you recognized at the casino? Like the workers knew who you were, said, welcome back? If
you're over there every day, obviously they're going to recognize you.
Right. Wow. What was it that led you back there? Was it, how did that happen? That
same
one
thing, like boardroom, friends. I remember one night, me and my friends, we were cruising around after we were in like a restaurant, coffee shop. And my friends, they would be going over there because I started gambling and a lot of my friends started gambling. And when I quit, the thing is, with me, why it was so extreme is I wasn't living paycheck from paycheck. You understand? So majority of my friends, they get basically paycheck. If they have to pay their bills, they pay their bills and they go gamble at casino.
Right.
But with me, it was different because, sometimes today I could sell, for example, 3 cars, get $30,000.
Right.
So it's not, I'm like, basically it was a cash flow business. So I always had money.
Right.
On a daily basis.
Right.
It's not like I have to wait until Friday, 2 weeks from now to get paid.
Yeah.
And I cannot gamble, no money.
Right.
But I was able to, because of my business, I was able to gamble every day.
And so you went back that day with your friends after 3 years of not going to the casino.
And I, I was like, I'm not going over there. And this and that, no, let's go over there. $100 and like, it's $100. That's it, And I told myself, I'm not going to gamble more than $100.
And what happened?
Sat down, $100. I lost it. And as I said, I wasn't gambling. I'm not going to gamble more. I watched them gamble. I lost that 100. packed up, we went back home, and everything open inside. I'm going to go back.
Oof. As soon as you got home, you realized you were going to go back.
I'm going to go back and again. And in the beginning, and during that time, I was making a lot more money than the first time. And I'm like, what's a couple of $100? It's nothing. I'm not going to even, my bank, nobody's going to notice this. If I go gamble a couple of $100 a night, that's nothing. But that's why it's so dangerous. You start, small, and all the way, a couple of weeks or couple of months later, you're basically gambling everything that you have.
Yeah, the trick I think your mind plays on you is that it tells you that this time it's going to be different, right? You're going to be able to manage it.
Yes.
You're going to be able to self-impose a limit, and it's all going to be okay.
It's all a lie.
Going to be different.
It's all a lie. And a lot of people, when I talk online, a lot of those people, they're saying gambling for entertainment, gambling for this. Like, gambling for entertainment, what do you mean gambling? Who likes to lose money? Yeah. Let's lose money. It's fun. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because the vast majority of people lose money.
Yeah.
So how is that entertaining?
Yeah.
And then there was one day that defined everything, right, for you, right? Where you were winning a lot of money.
I was winning during this time. Everybody knew me over there. Imagine you're coming over there every night, every single night for at least a year. It was like, at least a year. And I basically lost everything. During this time, I lost everything.
So wait, Adnan, so you lost everything the first time, then you stopped going to the casino for 3 years, and then you came back, and at this point you had been going back all the time
for about a year.
Okay.
And during this year,
and losing again and again and again. Yeah.
I lost everything. And how I managed to keep everything hidden is all the cars on my lot, they were basically paid by me, because I told you I would buy a car, sell it, and then reinvest everything, all the profits, and buy more cars.
Right.
And within a couple of months, I had a lot of cars. But what happened is now financing company, because I was in the business for a while, and financing company starts, calling me, coming to my office, basically, do you need financing? What we're going to be doing is we're going to offer you money. With our money, you can buy cars, and just, once you sell them, you sell it, just keep the profit, give us our money, that's it. They're going to keep small fee.
Right.
I'm like, no, I don't need that. I have my own money. Why would I need it? And I remember during this time, I lost basically, I started gambling, more and more. And on my lot, car starts disappearing.
Right.
And
because you're not reinvesting the money, you're losing
there's
it.
no money. I'm donating into the casino. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
People started asking questions, I had my whole lot was filled up with cars. Now it's visibly almost half full.
Right.
And I'm like, I remember this guy, I called him, hey, you remember that offer? And he came to my office. Mm-hmm. Can you come? I want to sign that paper for the financing that you offer. And sign the paperwork with him. And basically the deal was, they're going to give me the money. I go to the auction, buy cars with their money, sell it.
And give them
their plus small fee and keep the profits.
Right.
And that's very good for somebody who's starting out. Very, very good. Because if I had this offer when I was starting out, I wouldn't have to be dealing with, $300 or $400 cars. I would be dealing with $5,000, $10,000 cars because I would be able to afford it. And now what happened, I started buying cars, but not with my money, and kept the lot full. So on the outside, everything seems perfect. But what I started doing, all of those cars that are mine, sell them, donate to the casino. Sell them, donate to the casino. And now what happened? Almost every single car on my lot is not mine. Every single car.
Wow. It's all owned by the financing company, essentially,
yes,
until you can pay them back.
But what financing company does is they do audits. So every once in a while, they come over there. They basically come to the lot to see if the car is there. And if it's there, they just do their check. Everything is good. They go over there and everything is good. But what I started doing is I would take the financing company car, sell, customer will give me cash, and I will have about 2 weeks to process the title, give him the registration and everything. And instead of paying off the finance company,
you'd go to the
I
casino.
go to the casino.
Wow.
And everything started, going down. One day, they came over there to finance the audit. And there's, only like 5-6 cars on the lot. And it's supposed to be like 20.
Wow.
I'm like, where's the rest of the cars? I'm like, and right away, that's what gambling does. Just, one lie after the other. Like, oh, it's still at the auction, or it's at this mechanic shop, or it's inspection. And they, okay, no problem. Because they never had problems with me before.
Right.
Okay, no problem. You're going to come next week, make sure all the cars are here. That's it. Came next week, obviously, no cars.
The cars were not
and
there.
They started panicking. All the way, like managing directors, CEOs, all the way from the top of the company. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Da, da, da. I'm like, don't worry, you're going to get paid, this and that. Like, everybody, like, my phone was blowing, from all those people at the top of the company. And I'm like, man, why am I? And I managed, because on the outside, I told you, I was a very respectable person. I had businesses. I didn't have any money. If I go problems to go and ask to borrow money, people will give me money. So during that time, I borrowed some money, paid this debt, and they closed. They said, no, we are not dealing with you anymore. They closed it. So now there's no cars. There's no money. I only had maybe 2 or 3 cars that I still had left, the cheaper cars. And this, as you asked earlier, this changing moment when everything changed, I came to this casino. I remember I had only maybe $1,000 or $2,000, nothing much. And before, I used to gamble like $50,000 a night.
No way.
Yes, a night.
Shit.
A night. And I came over there, and I told you, everybody in the casino knew me, from pit bosses, from blackjack dealers, from cocktail waitresses to security guards. I mean, if you're coming over there every day for a year, sometimes 2 times a day, obviously everybody's going to know you. And this night, I came over there and started playing, and I was on unbelievable roll. Like, I couldn't lose. Sometimes, you get nights like this. You bet minimum, you win. You bet maximum, you win. You get blackjacks here, blackjacks. Like, you could not lose. And in the couple of hours, I had like a big mountain of chips in front of me. And I'm like, this is the night, basically, I'm going to get my money back and quit. And I still have that, think I'm going to get my money back and I'm going to quit. That's it. And everything is going great. And all of a sudden, security guy behind me, sir, let me see your ID. And I like turn around and I'm like, and I keep playing. And I'm like, why do you need to see my ID? Well, you really got to see your ID. You got to be 21 to be over here. I'm like, man, you know me. I'm over here,
Yeah, 7 times a week, yeah.
You've seen me here many times before. Why do you need to ask my ID right now? So, no, sir, you got to be 21, blah, blah, blah. And I'm playing, and I just, half ignoring him, playing this and that. And just to get rid of him, I had my ID on me. I don't have my ID. And I kept playing, and he disappears. And 5 minutes later, every single security guard is behind me, and there was a suited manager. They started pulling those chairs, and I was all by myself playing at a table. They started pulling those chairs out, and he said, sir, you got to leave right now, the manager. I turn around, and I see like 6 or 7 security officers and this manager in front. You got to leave right now. And he ordered the casino dealer to stop dealing cards, and so I couldn't play anymore. And I'm sitting over there, and every single person in the casino is staring at me. And I'm like, and I remember I asked this blackjack dealer, you know me, right? I'm here every day. And she said, yeah, but like she's shaking and she can't do anything. And I'm like, and everybody in the casino staring at me. Like, I'm some criminal. I did something, And I'm just sitting over there ignoring him. And he's just talking behind me and just ignoring him. And all of a sudden, somebody puts a hands on me, and I just jump up, turn around. I just pushed the guy. I didn't even hit him. I just pushed him. But he tripped on one of those chairs and he fell down. And what happened is all of them started jumping on me. I just put my hands up. I'm leaving. Leave me alone. And I scooped up my chips into the cage. And every single security guard behind me, they're following me towards the cage.
The cage is where you get your money from, chips.
Yeah. And again, people stop playing their games, they stopped, hitting their slots, and everybody's, trailing.
Wow.
And I'm embarrassed, So I come over, they give me my check, they give me the cash. And again, towards the exit, I come to, and still they're not leaving me alone. They're still behind me. And I step outside, and I'll never forget this. The moment I stepped outside, the security manager said, if you come back over here again, you're going to be arrested for trespassing. And I'm like, okay, going to see me again. 6 months later, I was back to rob him.
To rob him.
Yeah.
Why did they, so many questions about this. Why did you think they approached you the first time? What was it that, do you think it was because you were winning too much? I know casinos can actually do this, which I don't think most people know this, but casinos, they actually ban players if they think they're winning too much because they don't want to lose. And they can actually do this. They can prevent you from coming back, not because of any particular, just because you're winning too much. They can totally do it. It's at their own discretion to decide who plays in their casino and who doesn't. And one of the factors can be you're winning too much. We don't want you here, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
So do you think that's why they initially approached you?
that was the first time that happened to me. And obviously, and I was winning before, but not this much. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing I could think of. Mm-hmm. The only thing. I'm here over here every day for a year. Everybody knows me. This particular security has seen me 10 times. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time he's coming. He hasn't been asking me for my ID when I was losing.
Do you think he thought you were cheating or something? Do you think there's...
Nobody told me this. Well, they would have told me this. They just came and just, you got to leave.
And this is a stupid question maybe, but is there a way to cheat in blackjack?
They're saying you can count cards, but you need to have team. You need to have team, and you need to be good at memorizing those cards. But for a single player to count cards is going to be very hard. Mm-hmm. And even when you're counting cards, basically you stack the odds in your favor.
Right.
So basically you have more chances of winning.
Do you think that this security guard thought maybe you were counting cards? Do you think that's why he approached you?
I think I don't think he approached me on his own.
You think the manager sent him?
Yeah, manager.
But do you think whoever sent him, it was because they thought maybe you were counting cards or something?
It's possible, but they never did anything before. Mm-hmm. They would have, this was the first time that happened.
Right. And how much money did you make that night?
About 45,000.
Which is, more or less what you would also lose on a daily basis there. So a lot of money, but still nothing compared to what you'd actually lost there. During that 1 year, and even in the 3 years previously when you were still gambling before, how much money in total do you think you lost to the casino?
I would say if I lost, the thing is, you stop counting because you're sick. Just when you think about the number, you get sick. Because I remember this night when I lost those $50,000. I'm all night I'm playing back and forth, and come outside and sit in the car, and some people are going to work, and I'm, just miserable and thinking, I lost in the past couple of hours more money than somebody makes in a whole year.
Yeah. So you haven't answered my question yet, though. How much money do you think you lost?
I would say probably over 800,000.
Think it was more than that?
Once you, I told you, you don't want to count because it's so much money. You just, you you don't want to count because it's so much.
Yeah.
And you get sick to your stomach. How much are you losing?
But in your mind, it's around 800,000,
Yeah.
more or less. Okay, so you left the casino that day, you were kicked out, and then what happened after that?
And right away on my way home, I remember, I'm going to get him back.
Really? You were already making this plan?
Already.
You're already thinking you were going to rob this bank?
I'm going to, one way or the other, I'm going to get my money back. Because this particular casino, they took like majority, even though I was gambling after this, I was gambling also at other casinos.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular casino, they took majority of my money. And right away, I'm like, I'm gonna get it. It was, the matter of principle, revenge, my way of thinking, all of those things.
And how did it go? How did you start planning it? How do you go about robbing a casino?
Every night, basically it was a habit. After I would finish up work, I would go jump in my car, go to the casino to gamble. That was a habit. And after this, I would do the same thing out of the habit. I would finish up my work, even though there wasn't too much thing to do. But, I would have to be over there, jump in the car. Sometimes it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night, already late. And for the first time, I would drive all the way over there from my office to the casino, like 45, 50 minutes drive. And for the first time, I would drive all the way over there, but I wouldn't go inside the casino.
So what were you doing?
I would be just driving around and, thinking, how am I going to hit him? Sometimes, the only way to do it is basically go through the door, go straight to the cage where the money's at,
right,
and get it. But that's basically like a suicide mission.
Right.
It would be impossible, especially this casino right next to it. There's a police station. So it's almost impossible to do something like this. Within seconds, they would be over there, police. And I'm like, and every day I remember for about a week, I would be driving over there.
Wow, just trying to figure out a weakness.
Just cruise around and then, go back. And after about 7, 8 days like this, I remember I pulled about a mile away from the casino, north of the casino. It's a small, like not too many cars go over there. And I stopped over there, came out, and there was like a bridge, small bridge, maybe like 5, 6 yards. And I looked down, and there was like a I could see like a small entrance. I'm like, I gotta check this out. And there was a hill. I came down and turned on my flashlight, and there was like a square box, like maybe 3 or 4 feet by 3 or 4 feet. And I turned on my flashlight, crouched down, and I walked inside, like maybe 30 or 40 yards. And I came inside. There was a huge tunnel. Tunnel so big, like a small car could drive through it.
Wow.
And I, look this way to the left, go all the way. Look to the right, all the way. And I'm like, right away, I just, I hope this tunnel goes all the way towards the casino. Because to the left, it goes towards the casino. And I'm like, I just hope it goes all the way. And what I did, I just, run outside, parked because I left my car on the street. Even though there isn't a lot of cars, I didn't want to leave it over there. I went and parked to the parking lot, walked back right at night, went all the way towards the casino in this tunnel.
Did you walk?
Walk, yeah.
Okay.
And pitch black, it's a tunnel, you see, that musty smell. It was a sword. It was like a storm tunnel, not a sword tunnel.
Okay.
And I'm walking rats, like rats. I'm talking about the rats the size of cats, just. And I'm walking, and I'm just thinking, okay, I just need to, a little bit more. And above, you can see whenever the car passes through, those manhole covers just, echoing through the tunnel.
Yeah. And
I went, and roughly, I could, estimate about a mile away, and I could see, okay, it goes. And I could, even after a mile, the tunnel still goes, And I'm like, okay, this is it. And I particularly remember this. About a mile away, I could see those smaller sewer tunnels. Those are the sewer tunnels.
Okay.
And right away, I knew, okay, this leads towards the casino, because most likely one of those lines leads towards the bathrooms in the casino, and they go over there. And those are the sewer tunnel. And I was so excited during that time, because I knew this is the way. This is the way.
And what was the plan then?
So the plan was basically the next day, couple of days, I came over there and I explored those sewer tunnels. Those are much smaller, like this, like this. So I would have to crouch in and go over there, and I just explored them, and I hoped they're going to be going towards the casino. And roughly, I estimated, because I would go on the top, on the surface, and drive roughly to see how much, how far is it, and then I would go down in the tunnel and I would walk. And measure the steps, roughly how many steps all the way. And when I've seen one of those sewer tunnel leads towards the casino, and most likely to one of the bathrooms in the casino, I'm like, this is basically it. So that was the plan. Right away, I knew what needs to be done. The plan would be, original plan, to go inside, dig from one of those sewer tunnels towards the bathroom. It's going to be a concrete level above the bathroom. We would dig and leave a very small, thin leaf of piece of concrete above the bathroom. And we would storm the casino from the top. Just so everybody knows where we're at. Within minutes, the whole casino is going to be surrounded. But before we would prepare, I told you, it would take probably weeks and months of digging to prepare everything. In the tunnel, we would leave the ATV and prepare everything. The exit would be about 2 miles away. And there was a manhole, again, right on the street. So we would park a van above the manhole. In the van, there would be a hole. That's the only way we're going to get out. Because So basically, the exit would be drive with the ATV towards this van, remove the manhole, go straight into the van, and put the manhole back, and just leave. Yeah.
That is the craziest plan ever. So the idea was you'd go in through the front door of the casino, rob them, steal their money, go into the bathroom, punch a hole through the very thin layer of concrete that exists in the bathroom, manage to get down to the sewage tunnel, and then grab your ATV, which would be waiting for you, drive the ATV to another area where you knew there was a manhole.
Yes.
Your van would be on top of this manhole. The van had a hole underneath, and you'd go inside with all the money, and then you'd flee, and nobody would
disappear.
Find out.
And during this time, I was, doing a lot of research, how FBI operates, how, what would they do in this situation? And was within minutes, whole casino would be surrounded. So I was, calculating, researching previous cases, like how far of a perimeter would it, because still it was like about 1.5 miles. This manhole was 1.5 miles away. So I remember I was thinking, if they set up this perimeter, it's going to be dangerous for us if the police would be over there. So I was like, that's why, we have to find a way, like the van would be right in the middle of the street, like broke down. Even if the police, sets up the perimeter, we would still, the van would be over there, And I remember I would right away, the negotiations would start, because FBI would come, we would be inside, we would get the cash, and the rules and policies of the casino, the way they are operating, they would have to give us the money, because they don't want, in situations like this, first, it's the money is insured. They don't want anybody hurt at a casino. Right. So they just, they want to give you the money. And they know, especially once you're inside, and once everything is surrounded by police, they're going to give you the money, because they know you're going to get caught anyway, because how are you going to escape?
You're right.
And so they're going to give you the money. We would go inside the cage, fill up the bags with cash. Police and FBI would obviously call us. I would talk to them, just, try to buy some time, this and that. I would tell them, just come bring us a bus over here, make sure just to play with them.
Pretend that you're going to go out through the front door and negotiate with them. Yeah.
Yes, because they know there's no way out. Everything is surrounded. There's going to be, hundreds of police outside. We are going to get caught if you go through the front door.
Yeah.
So that was basically the plan. Go get the cash, as you mentioned, crash through the
concrete bathroom. Yeah.
Go inside and disappear. Go to the back home, turn on the TV, and still, look as they're searching for us.
And so the idea was that you're wearing masks for all of this, right? So they wouldn't recognize you, and you needed accomplices. You needed people to do this with you. You couldn't do it by yourself. Yes. So you found people, your friends.
Yes, one of my friends first was Fleka. He was also
Fleka was his nickname, right?
Yes, nickname, and he hated casino. He gave him everything as well. And every time, and I told him, even though I wasn't heeding my advice, but I would tell him, don't gamble, because I know what he does. And especially him, he was basically working from paycheck to paycheck. And whenever he gets paycheck, he calls me, F casino, F this, F that. They took everything. I told you, man, don't do that. And even though, because I felt bad for him, but I wasn't heeding my own advice.
Right, you were doing it too.
As I said, we were in different positions. I had a cash flow business, and every, now I could get $10,000 if I sell a car, but he was working paycheck to paycheck. And every Friday, whenever he gets paid, I have this, and I got to come to the office, I got to pay. And he would come to ask me, obviously, for the money, because, he gambled everything. He comes to me, and I would have to help him out.
Yeah. And so you knew that this guy was going to go with your plan.
Because, I remember, and he would always be telling me, like, I have a strategy, I have this, I have that. And I'm like, there's no strategy, man. There is no strategy. And one night, I'll always remember this. He calls me. That's, that was during the beginning stages of his gambling. He calls me, let's go for breakfast. I'm my treat. So I picked him up. We went, for a ride. And he said, you know what I decided? And he was working as a car salesman for one of the big car dealerships. And obviously he was getting paid on commission. He sells a car, he gets paid. And he was making decent money. He was pretty good car salesman. He comes to me and he starts talking. You know what? I found a strategy. He goes, whole week. Monday I went over there, walked in with 100, walked out with 500. The other day, same thing, 1,000. Yesterday, 500. This morning, I came in, 500. Couple of minutes, that's it. And I'm like, look, and you know what? I decided what I'm going to do. And I'm looking, listening to him, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to this full time.
Become a professional gambler.
Yes. And I'm looking at him, is he burnt out? Is he serious? I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. He goes like, why would I be sitting over there, all day on Arizona sun, hot. Or if somebody is going to come and buy a car like this, I go inside, 15, 20 minutes, walk out, $500. Why? I'm like, man, don't quit your job, man. Don't be stupid. Why? Yesterday I walked in, 15 minutes, I made $500. I'm like, so about a week later, scrolling again, I was crying.
You lost all the money.
I lost everything. Can you please help me out? I got to pay rent.
Good. Okay, so you knew that by contacting this guy that he was going to got along with your plan.
Yes. So I remember, because he hated casino. He gave him everything. And so one morning I called him in. We went to a coffee shop and he was always telling me about strategies. Like, I have a strategy. And he was asking me, you have understand, like, there's no strategy, man. So this morning I called him and I told him, okay, let's go. I have a way how we're going to get our money back. And right away he's listening. So I picked him up and I started, talking. And he said, like, he was thinking, I have some kind of strategy, counting cars or something like that. Like, so I started talking, we can get all of our money. It's going to be like, we can get like at least 5 or 6 million. He goes, how are we going to get that? I'm like, okay, listen. And I explained briefly everything. Basically, we have tunnels. We're going to get the cash from the top. And he's looking at me like, and sometimes I would be playing with him, like just, pulling his, and he's looking at me. Are you serious? And like, he doesn't know if to believe me or, yeah. And I asked him, you in? And he goes like, hell yeah. So that was basically it. He got recruited. He was the first one. And first, I remember that same night, I took him to the tunnel. I showed him everything, and he liked it. He liked the idea, and he was on board.
And then you recruited 4 other people, right? 2 who decided not to go last minute.
Yes, so there were 2 brothers. 2 brothers. I knew they would be, pretty good fit for this. And I told them I wouldn't. Flacca was the only one who knew the full plan. But to them, I would just tell them basically, there's a job to do, a lot of money. Are you in?
What was it? So what was the role of each person?
So me, Flacca, and one other guy would go to the top, get the cash with guns.
With real guns?
Real guns. The original plan was with the real guns. And the other guy, he would be a driver. Basically, we need somebody to wait in the car.
Yeah, in the van.
Yes, in the van and pick us up. That's basically it. So I told him basically, this is it. It's going to be a lot of money. You can be set for life. We do this successfully. That's it. You're set for life. And he said, yeah, we're in. No problem. We're in. And I told him, this is, serious, dangerous, serious, but, a lot of money. I said, yeah, we're in. And I told him, okay, once we finalize everything, I'm going to let you know. And that's it. But I want your full, guarantee that you're going to be in. I said, yeah, no problem. Both of us, 2 brothers, both of us are in.
So 2 brothers, one was a driver, the other one was going to go in with you guys.
Yes.
Okay, so you had 4 people total.
4 people altogether.
Yeah.
And so now me and Flacca, we're going to go over there, figure out everything. If we have to be digging, dig like, just maybe 5-6 yards until we reach the bathroom. So this is where problems start. To do the digging, I found out online basically the rough layout of the casino. And to dig, as you know, you have to be precise. Imagine you have to be digging exactly over there. So when you storm from the top, you know exactly where to smash.
Of course.
I mean, even if you're just one foot away, you're basically smashing at the wrong place. That's going to be disaster.
Right.
You do everything right, you cannot find a hole. And so I figured out all of those things, but I couldn't find out, the exact like layout of the casino, like to the inch. And I knew a guy inside the casino, and same thing with him. When I was speaking with him, he didn't like casino. He'd seen what it does, and he told me he had cousins who basically lost everything. He knew how casinos are destructive. Basically, they are destroying lives. And I spoke with him, and I why do you work? He said, I got to pay my bills, And slowly we started talking, and I started, asking for those questions. So he started providing me the information, inside information from the casino. And I asked him about this, is there a way? And he worked in the security office. Any way for you to find me the map, drawing of the casino? I said, no problem, I'm going to take care of that. And I go, okay, excellent. So all we have to do, get that map, and based on the map, we will do the digging, and exactly we know where we're digging. So everything is set. Basically, all we have to do is, get our hands on the map. And 1 week passed. I called the guy. He said, no, I'm still looking, 2, 3. And he just, kept, prolonging it. And I'm like, we need this. Okay, you told me you're going to get this. And after about 4 weeks, he said, no, I cannot. I'm sorry. I cannot do this. I cannot find it. And I'm like, right away, I'm thinking, because without it, it's going to be blind. You're going to be digging, you don't know. And I'm like, first time there was like, we cannot do this. we cannot do this. Because it would be a big risk, just
Yeah, of course.
digging blind
Yeah.
and then
And then you're stuck in the casino with no way out.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I remember for couple of weeks like this, I was trying to figure out a way, but nothing. And without knowing exactly where to dig and how to dig, there's no way I would do this, because it would be like, basically you would go inside, and as you said,
Right.
there's no way out.
Yeah.
And what gave me another chance, I was same thing, it was basically my habit. Sometimes I dropped off my mom at work, and same thing, like 10 minutes I would drive around the casino and go back to my work. And what I did is, as I'm passing, it's like early morning, passing by the casino, and behind the casino, I've seen a van, white armored van.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, and I turn around. I remember I turned around right away and started driving. And I see like two guys, one watching his back, another guy just, look, nothing, bags of cash,
Mm-hmm.
like clear bags of cash, just unloading. And I'm, driving maybe like couple of yards away from them. Nobody paying any attention to me, nothing.
Mm.
And I look like big mountain of cash.
Wow.
Like couple of million.
So this is a CIT truck, one of those cash in transit trucks,
Yes.
that armored vehicles that carry the cash to and from the casino. Yeah.
Yes. So what I found out later during my research, either they're replenishing the cage, because
Right.
in the cage they had to have a specific number amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Or they would be filling up those ATMs.
Hmm.
They had like 5 or 6 ATMs and filling up those ATMs. So I'm like, that gave me idea right away. So instead of going inside the casino, you can just hit them and still utilize the tunnel.
Hmm.
And that was basically it. So now we had to find a way to how am I going to utilize the tunnel? And during this time, it's already a couple of about 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I know every inch of the tunnel. I'm over there almost every night.
Mm.
So I'm thinking which manhole cover we can use. And right in the middle of the intersection, about 500, 600 yards away from the casino, there's a manhole right in the middle of the intersection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so this is what you can do. Get the money from the armored truck, get in the van. Everybody's going to see us. We're going to drive slowly to the middle of the intersection, park over there, remove the manhole. Same thing, same plan like before. Over the ATV is going to be waiting for us. Jump down, get on the ATV, and same exit like before.
To another van.
Yes.
So even if you were being followed after stealing the cash,
Yeah.
they would just see then the van stop, and they wouldn't be able to
Yes.
figure out at least immediately
Yes.
or catch you under the tunnel. Okay.
Yes.
And so what happened next?
So what happened is now everything was basically set in motion. Everything. Now this plan, I told Flacca this plan. And now as I was doing more research, during this time, especially a couple of weeks before we did this, there was a lot of bank robberies, especially in Arizona, and armored truck robberies where people get killed.
Yeah.
People get killed. And just like a couple of days before this, as I was doing this, guy was killed, armored guy was killed.
So the guy in the van, like the guy working.
Yeah. He got killed. I'm like, because I guess he tried, because they tried to play cowboys. You know what I mean, it's not your money. Give him the money. That's it.
Right.
So the guy tried to play cowboys, pulled out the gun. The guy shot him. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be exposing myself. It's all about the money. I don't want to hurt nobody. And I'm like, if you go over there, well, you don't know who you're going to hit. And later I would be reading in my police report after my arrest, the guys that we hit were ex-Marines.
Hmm.
So those people are trained to shoot.
Right.
And I'm like, if you go over there with, real guns, even though you don't want to shoot them, they're going to take out the gun and shoot you. So it's either he shoots you or you shoot him. And I'm like, I'm to the point where, there has to be something else. And I already told those guys, everybody, basically, the plan. The plan is basically we go with AK-47s, when you shoot, because most of the time when you see 3 guys with AK-47s, you're going to have, sometimes people still, want to play heroes. And that was the plan with real guns. And now I'm thinking, even though I don't want to, because I'm going to be responsible for other people's actions as well, because I did a lot of research. Even if somebody else shoots, even if the guy shoots and kills somebody else, I'm going to be responsible for this, So I'm thinking, and I'm like, you know what? There has to be another way. We're not going to be using real guns. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was pepper sprayed.
Mm-hmm.
And basically you cannot do anything. You cannot breathe, you cannot see, you're basically completely incapacitated. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe that would be a good idea. Because there's only one way is to just right away try to incapacitate those guys so they cannot do anything. One way was pepper spray, another way was taser. But, taser, it's risky, especially if they're wearing those armored.
Right.
So pepper spray. We're just going to pepper spray and then we're going to get, after a couple of hours, they're going to be fine. That's it. So I'm thinking, you know what? And especially as they passed, I read another report. Same thing. Another guard. In this case, I remember the guard, there was a shootout. The guard didn't get killed, but the guard accidentally shot a bystander, killed her. And they charged this guy for, with the murder. And I'm like, okay, we are not going to be doing this with real guns. So I remember I called Flaka to the office and I told him this. And I'm like, you're crazy. This is suicide. You're going to be hitting those people with pepper spray. They're carrying shotguns and, that's suicide. And in the office, me and him are sitting in the office and I pull out the gun. And I had a big 45 revolver.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it to him. Takes the gun. Take out pepper spray. And he was like maybe 3 or 4 meters away from me. Pepper spray in his direction. He just starts coughing, steps outside, and I told him, "Can you do anything?
Are you able to use the gun at this point?
Can you do? You're crazy. I can't breathe. I can't see. Can you shoot?" And he goes like screaming and yelling, "Can you shoot?" I can't see anything. So after a couple of minutes, he washed himself. He came back inside. Okay, would you do anything? I said, no. Okay, you had the gun in your hand. You couldn't shoot. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't see. So we're going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to carry the pepper spray. I'm going to spray him. And that's it. I just need your help to, carry the bags and all this fake AK-47, so if they think, that we have real weapons. Everything is set. Flaka is on board with pepper spray. We all set, basically. Everything is set. I called those 2 guys to the office. I remember we had a meeting in my garage. And I slowly started explaining the plan. And they asked what kind of guns you're going to be using. And I told them we're not going to be using guns. We're going to be using one fake AK-47. And I'm going to have the pepper spray. And the guys, that's suicide, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. You're going to be hitting guards who are carrying shotguns with pepper spray. That's suicide. You're just going to get yourself killed.
Yeah, they have the same reaction as Flaka, yeah.
Yes. You know what? Pepper spray is going to be much more. If I don't want to get anybody killed over there, it's going to be good. They're going to be incapacitated right away. They're not going to be able to see anything. They're not going to be able to breathe. You're going to get the cash and that's it. And they were like, no, I'm out. Another one, I'm out. And I'm like, okay. And I told them, okay, if you don't want to do it, that's it. But whatever we discussed over here, it stays between us. I said, no problem, this is it. But, this is suicide. This is suicide. And during this time, I'm like, because we need more people. Flaka was still on. Days pass by. Weeks pass by. And Flaka also stops calling me, stops coming to the office. obviously they had influence on him, that that's impossible to do. You cannot do this, especially with the, fake guns or pepper spray. And basically everything fell apart. I cannot do it myself. And couple of weeks like this, there's nothing. I don't have money for meal. Everything is gambled. The money that how I was financing all this was borrowed money because, I still needed, things to pay, to manage, to finance this heist. And one night, this is when everything changed because, I'm still, basically even me, myself, I told myself this is,
over.
Impossible. I mean, we cannot do it. This is it. I cannot do this myself. I need other people. They don't want to do it. That's it. And one night that's changed everything. After all day at work, I came back home. I stepped inside and I heard crying. And I knew right away what it was. Right away. And I walk inside and I see my mom sitting and crying on the chair. And I'm like, and what I did is she was stashing money beneath the mattress. And I found that money. I took everything and gambled everything.
Oh.
And she found out and she was like, she crying. And just sitting over there, standing, just looking, I would rather die the most horrible death than just listen to those cries.
Yeah.
And and I told her, Mom, I'm gonna return it to you. Promise. Just give me 2 weeks. I promise I'm gonna return it to me. And she just kept crying, and from that day, she just stopped talking to me.
Oh.
She wouldn't talk to me. And I remember I promised her I'm gonna return it to her, but she just she wouldn't talk to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I was like, I have to do this, even myself. I have to do this, even though I didn't know how am I going to do this myself, because at least I need 2 people, somebody to pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still, trying to brainstorm during those couple of days. But everything fell apart. Those 2 guys, they already said no. Flaka basically stopped coming to the office. He stopped calling me. He stopped answering my phone calls, so he's out too. And one day, I'm in the office, and my phone rings. I look, Flaka. And he hasn't been, calling me, because usually he calls me, many times a day. And I pick up, hey, and he goes, you in the office? I said, yeah. Wait, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes later, he parks right in front of the office, jumps out, walks inside, crashed on the chair and said, we can do this. I'm like, we can do what? And he goes, this robbery with fake guns, we can do this. I'm like, why do you think now we can do this? I'm like, just now, I watched the movie Inside Man, we can do this. And I'm like, of course we can do this. So I had him on board again for the second time.
After you watched Inside Man.
So we started getting everything together again, but now we still need somebody to pick us up. So now 2 guys, a gypsy and his son, he would always be in my office. Mm-hmm. And he bought a lot of cars from me.
He's also Bosnian?
Yes. So he came one particular day, he came to my office and he was asking, I was driving, I remember, that was the only car I had left, a Lexus. Mm-hmm. And I had another car, but that car was getting fixed. And he always wanted to buy this car. So, and I told him, you don't have the money. And I sold him a lot of cars, but he would, always for payments. He would give a couple of $100 and, either he would find somebody else to buy it and make some money, or, it would be payments, like $200-300 every month. So every morning he would be coming and you have any cars? But I don't have any. The only car was Lexus, and he wanted to buy it. I'm like, you don't have money, I need cash for this car. So, and he's always seen something happening, and like, what are you doing? You have anything, any job for me? And right away, I'm like thinking, okay, he can be our driver. He can just be over there. I'm not going to tell him anything. I'm just going to be basically telling him, okay, go over there, wait at this particular place and time, and that's it. He's not going to know anything. We're going to go do our thing, disappear, and he asks, okay, what do you have? And I ask him, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to park over here. I'm going to tell you a place where to park. You're going to wait over there. Do not move. Whatever happens, do not move. Just wait over there about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. We're going to come, pick us up, and that's it. I said, no problem, that's it. And I told him, and he asked, how much am I getting paid? And I told him, okay, you're going to get this Lexus, and I'm going to give you 50 grand. And I'm like, for this?
A lot of money to wait for 30 minutes.
Yes. And he goes, yeah, no problem, I'm going to do this. I said, and right away he said, okay, can I bring my son in? Why bring your son? Well, he can park behind. Like, cause the whole thing is, his car is that we're gonna be pretending the car broke down. He's just over there. He's gonna pop the hood in case, police comes by or something. Right. And he said his son will be parked behind. Okay, no problem. So in case somebody comes behind, so at the moment when we are escaping through the manhole, so nobody sees us because the car will be blocking the view. We had him on board. And me and Flaka, basically, we went and finalized everything. It basically, the only thing was left to get the manholes. One thing about the manholes, because I tried to open them. Those manholes are very heavy. Very, very, like maybe 200-300 pounds.
Like the grade itself, the metal is super heavy, yeah.
And I'm like, this is going to be a problem because especially from the van, you're going to have you're not going to have too much leverage because you can open it when you have a lot of leverage, you can just pop the, metal pole, pop it up and that's it. But from the van, it's going to be very tough because there's no leverage. Right. We have a small hole and so we got to do something, So I figured out we're going to replace them with fake manhole covers. They're going to be much lighter. So we went over there, took photos of them, measurements, and I took those measurements to the machine shop. They cut out to the holes, two manholes. And me and Flaka, we went back to my garage. We had the photos of the original ones and painted them the same color, put the same letters to make him resemble the original ones. Right. And so we had those manhole covers ready, and they're much, much lighter. Maybe instead of like 200-300 pounds, maybe they're like 20-30 pounds. And so everything is set during this last week was very busy. Every night, me and Flaka, we would be in my body shop till like 3 or 4 in the morning, just basically working. We brought the vans over there, cut the holes.
Cut the hole holes. In the driveway van, yeah.
Yes.
In the getaway van, yeah. Made the grates.
Yes. And everything was set, basically. The manhole covers were ready. Holes in the back of the vans are ready. We got the big pepper sprays, those big riot pepper sprays. This pepper spray, it's a bear spray, I remember. It could spray like 30 or 40 feet away. So we got the jumpsuits, we got the masks, we got everything. Everything is set. So that's it. All we have to do is this guy was providing me the information because he told me basically he's going to give me the information when the van is coming, how much money, all the procedure, everything. That's
the guy on the inside that you're still communicating with.
Okay. Yes. And he told me first, because, I cannot take his word for it. So I already told him a couple of times, tell me when are they coming next. And he would tell me date and time because their security procedure wouldn't tell him like, they're coming at 10 a.m. But they would have a window. So they could not be tracked easily. It's like some kind of security procedure.
Yeah.
So he would tell me, for example, between 6 and 9 on Friday, they're going to be over there. And I already checked him out like 2 or 3 times. He told me, I'm watching. Really, they came. Next time, same thing, they came. So that's it. Basically, he can be trusted. So on this particular day, he told me, okay, this week after we set everything up, he said, okay, they're coming Friday. Friday from like 6 to 9, they should be over there. And I remember he told me they're going to have an extra escort. Usually when they have an extra escort, when they have in the van in excess of $5 million.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, but that's going to be a very tougher for us because they're going to have an extra security.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So date was set Friday, and everything was put in motion. We got the vans ready, manhole covers ready, and Thursday night, basically, we got everybody ready. Went to the Gypsy, rented a hotel close to the casino. We assembled over there. Everything is set. And one of the things about the manhole was, ideally you would like to replace it, a couple of days before, so you're not rushing things. But with the manhole, especially this one, I didn't want to replace it 2 or 3 days before. We could risk, some, because they're much lighter. Cars or big trucks, going over them and cracking them and then exposing everything. So the plan was, we're going to replace them, a couple of hours before. So we minimize that, big car running over it and cracking. Yeah. So we parked the ATV right below this manhole. We replaced first manhole. First manhole was the most critical one because it's right close to the casino. And I was just, hoping all the cameras are pointing towards the casino, not outside towards the street. So we just parked. It was like 2:00 in the morning, not too much traffic. Parked the truck. Me and Flacca got out, popped the original one, put it in the back of the truck, and replaced the fake one. And I particularly remember this when I replaced this one. I put it on cover it, and it wouldn't fit completely. It was like slight gap, like, sticking out. And I'm like, I tried to, step on it, nothing, it wouldn't go. And I'm like, nobody's going to be looking at the manhole in the middle of the night. And we just need this couple of hours and that's it. So I left it like that. We replaced the other manhole like 1.5 miles away. This one, fit perfectly. And that's it. So we went back to the hotel. And in case like this, what I did is my biggest concern was this police station. And I was thinking there could be a possibility that while we are doing this, police would come right away because we still need a couple of minutes, They could dispatch police and they could block our way to the manhole. And if they do this, now we are not going to have access to the manhole. What are we going to do? And we had to prepare a plan B. And this is, the worst case scenario. Basically, if something like this happens, we would have to drive to our 2 getaway cars. I would park 2 getaway cars about 5-6 miles away. Leave the van over there. I would jump in one car, Flacca in another, and we would just escape.
Right.
And this would be the worst case scenario.
Right.
So we parked those cars over there. Everything is set in place. Manhole covers replaced. And me and Flacca, we went over there. We parked right across on the parking lot, across the casino. And I remember we were late. When you're rushing like this, we came over there like past 6:00. And he told me like 6:00, they're going to be over there from 6 to 9.
To 9, yeah.
And we came like a couple of minutes later. And I remember when I came over there, I've seen some kind of white van. And it was dark. I couldn't see what kind exactly is it. They are leaving. As we are coming, we came and parked, and I'm thinking, could it be that we are late? And I'm like, is it possible we are late? Because he told me, from 6, sometimes they could be at 6, they could be at 9, or any time in between.
Right.
And, I'm thinking, so we parked over there, and it's July. In Arizona, it's hot.
So hot.
So hot. And especially, we came, parked over there, shut off the van, and inside the van, it's like 20 or 30 degrees, hotter than the outside.
Yeah.
we are in those jumpsuits. Me and Flaka, we jumped in behind, and we are just watching. And we had the plan was to burn everything. I had a small bottle filled up with gas. So after we do everything, there's gasoline everywhere, burn the van, so there's no evidence left once we disappear inside the tunnel. And we are waiting over there, waiting, and every passing minute, it's harder and harder. And Gypsy, he's not parked, but we are communicating on the radio every couple of minutes. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, just wait. Once we call you, the plan was once we start going towards the van, we will call him, get in the position.
Right.
That's it. And waiting, all of a sudden, regular police, cruising by. And then Flaka started panicking. Let's go. They're going to see us. I'm like, no, it's just regular patrol. Don't worry. So they just passed.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this, I'm watching this casino, and you see all of those sad faces coming out.
In and out, yeah.
I see myself like, I remember like this. And I see, some of those familiar faces. And I feel so genuinely bad for them, because I see myself in how many nights I walked out like this, going, sad, just, sit in the car. He's going to go home, have a miserable day, and just, hope to get some money to come back, to get his money back. And I remember, thinking, what goes through his mind? He probably lost everything he has.
Mm-hmm.
Does it go through his mind same like, like he did to me? Does he ever, think that, he lost everything? He's going to come back, find a way to rob him.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching those people, and as time passes by, more and more activity starts going on. Those employees are going to work. Employees are going back from work. And sun is already, up, but still no armored truck. And another police cruiser passes by. And I'm like, okay, it's just a regular patrol. They're going to come. And Flaka starts, no, they left. This van was that, we're just wasting time. This is it. Let's wait. We're going to wait till 9 o'clock. They told us till 9. So 7 o'clock, nothing. 7:30, nothing. And it's already, we are all drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
8 o'clock. And I'm thinking right now, we missed them. This is it. Everything is going to fall apart. Basically, we already left those manholes over. Some van is going to, or truck is going to go over there, crack him. Because either we do this right now or it's over.
Yeah.
And we're about to leave. And all of a sudden I see the van. And everything everything in the slow motion. So now I know in the next couple of minutes, my life will definitely change. Well, one way or the other.
Right.
And I know, we did all this for a long time, all planning, preparation for the past 6-7 months. All this basically is going to come to this.
Leading up to this moment, right?
Yes, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
This is it. And I just jump up. I told Flaka, this is it. Let's go. I got on the radio. All Gypsy, go and park over there, get in your position. So jump up. We had a fake blow-up doll. I just put in, strapped her, put the mask
passenger
on.
Seat?
Passenger seat. So to give the impression to police that basically we are still inside the van, because the van is going to be definitely surrounded by police in the next couple of minutes after we do this. So strap it, the mask on, it's somebody sitting inside. And I jumped in the car, put it in reverse, and started, slowly going. And I came right onto the casino parking lot, and I see the van is still sitting. The van is still sitting.
The armored truck, yeah.
Yes. And the thing about this is you have to hit him at the precise moment, because if you come too early, how are you going to get in?
Right.
You need RPG to break it in.
Right.
You cannot do that.
Armored. Yeah, it's bulletproof and it's incredibly secured. And so you have to hit it once the door is open.
Yes.
And
exactly.
somebody's outside already.
Yes. So we have to wait, until they open up, and while they are already basically outside. So to hit them while the van is open. But you cannot wait too long, because right away they go inside the casino. And once you go inside the casino, it's going to be very, very risky.
Right.
Because once they go inside, there's a big hallway.
Right.
Like maybe about 30, 40-yard hallway. So it's basically you and them. So you have to run towards them, and they have plenty of time to take the guns out and shoot you. Right. So that's going to be very risky. So we only had about maybe 40 or 50 seconds while they open the doors, load the bags onto the cart, and go inside before they go inside.
Before they go inside, yeah.
So I start driving, and they're still inside the van. We cannot go. And while I've seen the van over there, I've seen another car, as this guy told me, trailing behind him. A civilian car, just a regular civilian car. And I told Fleck, okay, this guy is also with them. Mm-hmm. You got to pay attention to him. And I'm driving, and I see those people are not coming out. So I'm like, I turn right, and I'm going to make one spin, around the parking. Hopefully, by that time, they're going to come out. So I make one spin, and I see the security guard park the car and come out. And big gun was on his hip, and I told Flecker, this guy's with them. You got to pay attention to him, because he's going to be behind us. So I made one spin around, got back on the same road, and as soon as I had the sight of the van, I could see the outside, one guy behind me. They're basically setting it up, unloading the bags onto the cart. And we passed this security guard. He's slowly walking towards them. He's maybe 150 meters from this van. So I just sped up, and we are about maybe 30 or 40 yards away from the van. And this is it, basically. And I remember Flecka, we are about to hit him in the next 3 or 4 seconds. I remember Flecka saying, don't stop. This guy from the back started screaming, don't stop. This guy from the back is going to shoot us. He's going to shoot us. I'm like, this is it, man. I'm stopping. I'm doing this. So I just, parked right behind this van, grabbed the pepper spray from the seat, jumped out. And as soon as I jumped out, I sprayed right away. And this was the most critical point. If you could, just disable the guards, get the cash, this is it. Because my biggest concern was, I just don't want him to shoot us.
Yeah.
And right away, what happened is they run away. Both of the guards just run away. Mm. And the guard in the driver started, looking over his shoulder to see what's happening. And I remember he tried to pull out the gun. There was a gun right next to him, trying to pull it out. And I ran right in front of the van. I pepper sprayed inside the van, and all this, the AC and everything got sucked inside. And I could see him, he started coughing, right. The driver. So I ran around, and driver just stepped on the gas, just squealed off, and those doors started flapping. The bags of cash started falling out of the van. And I came over there, and I see they already loaded like 3 or 4 bags onto the cart. Nobody around me. There's a cloud of pepper spray. Shit. And I just pulled this cart like 5-6 yards away. Flacco was already outside, he didn't know what he was doing with the fake AK-47. We got the cash inside. Just jumped inside. Both of us jumped inside. And Flacco was screaming, we got him. Yes, we finally got him. And I said, it's still not over. We gotta get away. Mm. And right away, I heard sirens everywhere, from the left, from the right, everywhere. And I'm like, this is it. I already expected this. They're going to be here in the next couple of minutes, but we got it. I know like 90% we are done. This is it. We got him. We're going to escape. That's it. We got him. So driving slowly, about not just regular driving, and everybody is looking at us. I looked in the mirror, and already people, gathered. There's a big orange cloud of smoke when I sprayed that pepper spray. And everybody's pointing to the van and everybody looking at us. And slowly I came to there's an intersection and it's morning where cars are passing by. It's pretty busy. And I parked right in the middle of the intersection and Flacca screamed behind me, you missed it. And he was saying like, so I put it in the reverse and slowly backed off. I said, stop. So you got to line up the hole with the manhole below. And right away it started, to work. I put the car in the parking, started spraying the gasoline all over the place.
To set it on fire, after you left? Yeah.
Yes. And police everywhere. I could hear police sirens everywhere. All those people around us. They are just, watching, they don't know what's happening.
Right.
And Flacca's job was basically to go behind, deploy the smoke grenades so nobody could see us.
Going down.
Like within a couple of seconds, smoke all around us. And those people, we blocked the whole street. They started just squealing around us, just driving around us.
Shit.
They don't know what's going on. And I'm doing my job, trying to take off my jumpsuit and everything. Flacca is deploying those smoke grenades. And I will never forget this. When he screamed, Flacca screamed, I cannot open it.
Oh, fuck.
I cannot open it. And I'm like, what you can't open? I jumped up. I can't open the manhole. I'm like, what do you mean you can't open the manhole? Look down. Because I know you just lift up your finger, you put it. That's it. That's the whole point why we replaced it. And I looked down and like, I took the fake AK-47, put it inside the hole, tried to pry it open. Nothing. Tried a couple of more times. I pushed all my strength down and I broke the tip of it. And I'm like, man. And I see police all around, getting closer and closer. And we are parked in the middle of the street. Everybody's looking at us. And I'm like, man. So what happened is, you remember when I told you when
it wasn't totally, flat.
Yes. So what happened, when I gave the dimensions to the machine shop, they cut on the outside, not on the inside. So slightly, maybe quarter of an inch, they cut it bigger.
Yeah.
So it was bigger. So what happened? The car ran over it and slammed it shut.
Yeah. And
so now we would be better off if we never replaced them. We would still manage to
get out with the big...
We would struggle, but, we would, manage like this. It was sealed shut. Seal, you would need really to go outside and big leverage bar to open it. And I'm now thinking, why to the right, now we still have plan B. Plan B to basically to the right to go try to get to those two cars that we parked.
Runaway cars, the others.
But now, okay, it's still not over. We can get to those cars and escape. But now from this, I could already see maybe like less than a mile, because everything is open and I could see the lights and sirens coming for like 5 or 6 cars. And like, there's no way they're going to block our cars way. There's no way we can go. From the left, police sirens, behind us, police sirens. And I could, only from the front of the casino, there was like an Indian reservation. I didn't hear the sirens. So I just put it in drive and just gunned it straight ahead. And in the next couple of minutes, I already seen the chopper on top of us. And during the next 30 minutes, I just gave him a wild ride all over the city of Scottsdale. Like I was driving like 80, 90 miles an hour. I was driving so recklessly. I was reading this in the police report later that the police supervisors had to call off the chase. They ordered the police to stop chasing me. Stop chasing, that's it. Let him escape. And about after 30 minutes of this wild ride, all of a sudden, because there's police everywhere, on every side, sirens everywhere. 30 minutes later, there's nobody. And I'm thinking in my mind, we got him, we escaped. And I thought like, okay, all we have to do is just get to those cars, you in one car, I'm going to go in another car, get the cash, and we are home free. That's it. And as I was driving there, all of a sudden the van started smoking. As I was driving, through the holes, through the curbs, through everywhere, I cracked the radiator.
Shit.
And I guess all the water leaked out. And I looked at the gauge all the way to the right. Engine was overheating. And I stepped on the gas, started losing power.
Shit.
I'm like, there's no way this van is going to take us to the cars. I'm like, we got to park somewhere over here and we got to escape. That's why I told Fleka, we got to escape. There's no matter what, do not get caught. So I parked right in front. It was some kind of medical building. Parked right in front of it. And there's no police, no sirens, nobody. Parked in front, smoke here, like van is like almost on fire. So much smoke. And everybody's looking at us, those girls from the offices, they came out for us for a break. And I told like grab the cash and do not get caught. And I'm going to stay inside to quickly clean up. I didn't have time to burn everything. So I'm going to clean up whatever we can clean up, the fingerprints, everything else. So Fleka opened the doors and just started running. And I left about 15, 20 seconds in the van, just cleaning up. I remember I took off the jumpsuit and I jumped out. Started running up to him. And out of nowhere, a truck, like white civilian truck in front of me, hit me. I slid over the hood. The guy jumped out. It was a detective. Sure. Later, I would read in the report. So I just jumped over one wall. There was a wall right next to it, next to the road. Jump over the wall, and in the next couple of seconds, all the sirens again, all over sirens. I jumped onto it was like a one-story building. I jumped onto the building on top of it, and choppers. There's already like 2 or 3 choppers on top of me. And I look down, and this side, I see Fleka on the ground.
Shit.
4 or 5 police officers on top of him, gunpoint, bag of cash next to it.
Shit.
And I'm looking, I'm like this. I'm just, watching for like 2 or 3 seconds, but it seems like, like a lifetime you're watching this. Like, I cannot believe this is real, And I just snapped out. I ran to the end of the building, jumped down. I jumped over another fence, and I found myself in a pool. And I just walked inside this building, and everything is cold and quiet. Walk straight to the bathroom, and I'm like, I don't know how am I going to get out of this.
And that was it.
And that was basically the beginning of my end.
How soon after that were you actually caught then?
In this building, within minutes, this whole building was surrounded.
Right.
It was surrounded, and I know this because I read in the police reports.
They knew exactly where you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you were hiding, yeah.
Over 300 local police officers, state police officers, FBI police officers.
We're all involved in the chase.
Around. This building was surrounded by over 300 police officers.
That is insane.
Yes. And I'm in this bathroom. And I remember because everything, because I walked into this pepper spray, everything is burning. Plus it's amplified by, Arizona sun.
Yeah.
Everything, I'm on fire. I just washed myself up. And for the very first time, I remember, and I'll never forget this, for the very first time I asked God to help. This very first, like a biggest hypocrite, basically at the very end, basically to help me out of the position where it's impossible to escape. Surrounded in a building by over 300 police officers, and they're about to storm the building, most likely kill you. You don't have any weapons. You don't even have anything to defend yourself with. And I remember this, and I specifically asked him this. I said, God, if you help me get out of this situation, I promise you, I will be doing whatever you ordered us to do. And I will stop all the things you prohibited us to do. And one of those things is gambling.
Right.
In the Quran, it specifically tells us, Allah tells us there's no gambling.
Mm-hmm.
And right after this, it's unbelievable. This was a power of God that I've witnessed firsthand right there. Some kind of calm and tranquility washed over me, like everything that was happening outside and around me, it was like, it's not happening to me. Those people outside, they're not looking for me, So I walked outside and like a completely new person. There was some kind of laundry room across the hallway, came inside, grabbed some kind of shirt, white shirt, put it on. And I came into the one big day room. And the building where I ended up being, it's like old retirement home. I couldn't stand out more than in this place. The youngest person was like 70 years old. And I've seen like couple of residents, they're all at the window, peeking through the window. And I came over there and asked, what's happening outside?
Oh my God.
And like, we don't know. They said like, there's a lot of police officers. We don't know. It seems like they're looking for somebody. I'm like, okay. So I just left and I went to the second floor. And there was a big window. And on the second floor, I could see everything. And a lot of activity. I see choppers, like 3 or 4 choppers on the top, police everywhere. I'm talking about couple of police cars. They already set up perimeters, like below, maybe like 20 or 30 yards below. The police cars, coming in. There's already about maybe 100, 150 spectators. They came out of the buildings and out of the businesses. And when something like this happens, they come out to see what's happening. And I've also seen the vans, those vans pulling up, media vans. They pull up and start, pulling up the antennas to record straight to the studio. And I'm like watching this. I'm like, man, and all of those people are looking for me. And now I don't know how am I going to get out of this. I really didn't know how. And I came down and I started, just basically casing the place. How am I going to get out? For the exits, for place to hide, because there's no way I'm going to hide inside. They're going to search everything. So the only way I have to get out of this. And I came, I just tried to memorize. For about 5-10 minutes, I just walked around the building and nobody was paying attention to me. Nobody. And second time I went to the second floor and I've seen everything changed. It just gave me the new sense of urgency. I've seen in the distance, like couple of civilian cars, and FBI SWAT team was gearing up. They were gearing up,
probably to enter the building. Yeah.
Yes, their masks on. They were checking their weapons, and I'm thinking, those people are going to storm the building in the next couple of minutes.
Right.
I have to get out. And I'm like, now that sense of urgency, I cannot stay here. So I came down and I've seen the patio. On the back patio, there was a patio, small one. And it was separated by a hedge. And right behind this hedge, there was you stepped outside, there was a police car and police officer. And he was turned with his back towards me and he was just watching. And I'm just, watching this, and I'm like, maybe if there's a way for me to sneak by him, but it's going to be very, very, very tough because he's right there. He's like maybe 7-8 yards away from me. And on the other side, there's nobody but police. Nobody but police. And I'm watching and I told the choppers on top, all kinds of noise. The radios of those police officers, they are basically screaming all around you. And I'm watching. And this is what changed everything. I've seen the guy, just regular looking guy. He's all tatted up, came out in the shorts and a shirt. and started walking normally. He seen something is happening, and he wanted to go, I guess, to the group of spectators to see what was happening, and started walking. And this guy's police officer spotted him, but he didn't see this police. And this police started watching him like a hawk. He started walking. And on this parking lot, there's like 5 or 6 officers walking towards this guy. And the moment this guy turned the corner, he seen those officers. He just, I don't know why, he just turned around and started walking back. And this guy who was watching his every step got on the radio, and everybody started everything started moving fast. This officer started running
Following
over
him.
here. Those 4 or 5 officers started running. And I'm like, this is it.
This is my opportunity.
Yes. I just jumped over the hedge and started walking normally. And this was like insane. I'm talking like police officers are literally like 3 or 4 yards away from me, running.
Towards this other guy.
Yes.
And not even noticing that you're right there.
And I'm just normally walking. And I'm like, this was
God.
the longest walk of my life. Like only like maybe 150 yards.
That's
And
crazy.
I'm thinking, all I have to do is just walk to this group of spectators,
And then pretend like I'm one of them.
and that I'm free. That's all I have to do. If somebody sees me over here, I'm done. But if I could blend with the spectators, that's it. I'm free. And I'm walking like I have like 60 yards, 50 yards. I look to the left and I see this poor guy's on the ground. Everybody's on top of him. And, they're putting handcuffs on him. And I'm still walking 20 yards. And there's still, like perimeter, there's media. And behind media, there's like spectators.
Right.
And right before I'm about to blend with those people, the guy jumps in front of me, short guy, Mexican-looking guy, and he sticks the microphone under my mouth. What's going on over there? Did he get arrested? And I'm like, he surprised me. Like, I'm thinking first thing, he's a police officer. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's why I came here. I don't know. And he lost interest in me. I just, went over him, blended in, and that's it.
And then what?
And then what I did is I went to one of those officers because I didn't have anything on me, no phone, nothing.
Right.
I asked one of those officers if I can use the phone. I called my friend. And 45 minutes later, he came, picked me up, dropped me off home. And I'll never forget this. Everything seems like, unreal to me. Like, I cannot believe this. I walked inside the home, quiet, nobody's home, turned on the TV. On every single TV channel, breaking news. It says, hostage negotiations after Casino, Arizona robbery. Hostage negotiations after Casino, Arizona robbery. I'm like, what hostage negotiation? And I'm seeing all of those helicopters in the air, like a lot of police officers around the building. And I see those same SWAT team officers that I've seen live, gearing up. I'm watching them on TV right now, putting them on, checking their guns. And by looking, and I'm thinking, all of those guys are looking for me.
And they still think you're inside the building at this point.
Yes.
That's why they're calling it a hostage negotiation.
Yes. And I'm looking, all of those guys looking for me, police officers. And at that very moment, I realized how dangerous I really am.
Yeah. And wait, at this point, you know that they have Flecka.
Yes.
So did you think that Flecka was going to talk?
Yes, eventually it's going to be, matter of time. It could be days, but I knew I had to disappear.
And so how much time was it until they got you?
End of the day.
That end of the same day. So immediately Flecka talked and told them about the whole plan, gave your name.
Not about the whole plan. They didn't know about the whole plan.
But he gave your name.
Yes, but they were thinking, originally they were thinking, okay, this is armored truck robbery. But later, when FBI found out, there was tunnel, fake manhole covers, there's ATV in the tunnel. When they've seen it's sophisticated, it's, this has to be, months and months of planning.
Right.
That's when they did their press release, then it exploded because it died down initially, but then it exploded in the next couple of days, it exploded everywhere.
When they figured out the details.
Yes.
Because I did a story actually on heists and looked into the CIT, the cash in transit heists. And it's actually much more common than people think, particularly after COVID, it became super popular. There were 33 cash in transit robberies in America in 2022. That was the last year that the FBI published data. And in 23, but we actually, in our story, we ended up going to South Africa because in South Africa, they're like the kings of cash in transit robberies. They had 234 cash in transit attacks in South Africa in just so like a lot more than in the United States. But it actually was becoming incredibly popular in the US. And one of the reasons, and then we're going to go back to your story, but I found it so interesting. One of the reasons why we actually interviewed a few CIT robbers in Los Angeles. And they told us one of the reasons it became so popular after COVID, not only because people were hurting and they were out of jobs and they needed the money, but also because everybody was wearing a mask at the time. Easy. So it became really easy to just blend in with regular citizens, even when you were using a mask. So that really helped people sort of start doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you were at home at the end of the day and you knew you knew that it was just a matter of hours.
Away, I cannot stay here. I had to escape. And I called this guy to drop me off to go and pick up the car that I left over there. So I went, pick up the car, came back home and I'm packing basically. My plan was to basically go see my friend in New York, just drive over there. Even though I don't have money, it was planning as I go.
Yeah.
No money, nothing.
So the idea was you're going to be living as a fugitive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And as I'm planning, I called my sister. I told him I got to leave. I called my girl. I told her I got to see you. And she said, okay, I'm finishing up work. Let's meet at the park. And I'm stepping outside my house and I see civilian car. It was a Dodge Intrepid, 4 people inside. They just passed by, nothing. And I'm like, I've noticed them, but okay, no problem. Sit in my car, backed out, and about maybe 150 yards away, there's a road, and usually you turn left or right. And they're still sitting over there. They're not turning. And I started slowly going towards them. And all of a sudden, those 2 white reverse light popped up and they started slowly backing up. And I'm looking at them, I'm still, something is suspicious, but, I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Maybe they forgot something. Slowly, they're backing up. And I looked in the rearview mirror in case this guy doesn't stop so I can back
reverse
up.
Him, yeah.
Same exact car behind.
Oh, shit.
4 people inside. And I'm like...
So they're undercover cops, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Later, I read FBI agents. All of them were FBI agents.
And they were all plainclothes, so they weren't dressed. Yeah. And so they got you. That was the moment. So they got out of the car.
So the first car basically came right next to me. All 4 doors opened up. 2 guys on this side, 2 guys on this side. Every single one has a gun pointed at me. They already took covers. I looked in the rear mirror, same thing. All 4 doors opened. 2 guys on this side, 2 guys on this side, screaming on all sides. 8 guns pointed at me. And I'm like, and I'm still thinking, how am I going to get out of this? I have an option, One option is to gun it. Just step on the gas, try to wiggle my way out.
So crazy.
And my 8 guns, they're going to just basically it's going to be like hundreds of bullets in the matter of couple of seconds. And I remember thinking about my mom, my sister, most likely they're going to kill me. What are they going to be thinking? Killed right in front of the house, right in front of the house. And I'm thinking, and they're just screaming, like my 10, 15 seconds, screaming. I'm just sitting over there. And I'm like, at that moment, this is it. I just put the car in park, stepped out, and that's when I got arrested.
Raised your hands and you got arrested. And then you were sentenced to how much time?
Gave me 17 and a half years.
And that was not because of only the robbery, right? They gave you more time because there was they said that there was a real gun in the van, even though you didn't bring that real gun to the van. What happened there?
What happened is Flacca always wanted to, have the real guns again. I told him it's not necessary. And nobody even, I didn't use it, he didn't use it. But he brought the gun into the van. And later on, they found that gun was never used. Right. He had fake AK-47. I had pepper spray. And FBI did find a gun. And because of that, even though it wasn't used, it was found in the van. They basically they gave me extra 5 years for that.
Extra 5. Wow. What about Flacca? How much time did he get?
He got, well, one of the reasons also they hit me hard because of this guy, the inside guy. Flacca got the highest sentence after me, 6.5 years. Those two, Gypsy and the son, Gypsy got 2 years and son got 2 years probation.
Wow. And you got the most time because you were the leader. You're sort of the
leader, and because I was the only one in contact with the inside information guy. And FBI came to me right away. After they found out everything, they said, okay, we know more people were involved than you and Flacca. It was initially me and Flacca. And I told them, it's only me and Flacca. This is it. There's nothing to talk about. Then FBI was coming a couple of times to me, to try to extract more and more information. When they found out there was tunnel, manhole covers, all that, they were like, this is not like, as you mentioned earlier, just regular cash in transit robbery. This is something much more.
Yeah, this is Ocean's 11 level robbery. Yeah.
Yes. And FBI, they're very smart people and they're polite. They, they respect you. They treat you nicely. And they said, you know what? Your life is in your hands right now. You work with us. You help us. We're going to help you. We're going to talk to the prosecutor. You might get a better sentence. You're going to go to jail. There's no doubt about it. But, it depends. Either 5 years or you could face life in prison.
Yeah.
And I'm like, life in prison? I'm thinking this guy is already, lying. And I said, there's nothing to talk about. So and they said, okay, no problem. Talk to your attorney. See, what he said, and we're going to come again. So my attorney comes, and I told him, basically, they came over there, this and that. And he told me, yeah, whatever they told you is true. You could face life in prison because of this gun. It's my first time, nobody got hurt. Yeah, but he said, no, most likely you're not going to get that because it's your first time, you were never in prison, this and that, but by law, judge could give you life in prison, but most likely it's not going to happen.
And then you decided to talk then?
No, I never.
Oh, so you never did?
No, I never
So
talked.
Flacca did? Or how did they find the inside guy and the whole plan?
They never found the inside guy.
Oh, so till this day, no one knows who the inside guy was?
For 2 years, FBI was trying, to come and talk to me. And I told them, what, there's nothing to talk about. Because first time, from the very beginning, they came to me and they said, look, we know that somebody was providing you the information. We know. There's no way you could know what time are they coming, how much are they bringing, if they're going to have extra security, all that.
Right.
You knew all that. So tell us, help us out, and we're going to help you out.
And you never did.
I told them.
And what about Gypsy? Who told them about Gypsy and the son?
They connect everything to Flacca.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you did 50. You got sentenced to 17 years. You did 15 and a half in prison, right? Was it you did less time for good behavior?
I was supposed to get out even sooner, but troubles, fights in prison, stuff like that.
Was prison hard?
I spent almost 2 years in the hole because of that, because of fights and stuff like that.
What fights? Because of what?
Like minor things, somebody, disrespects you, somebody, especially me, I was minding my own business. And especially when you're quiet, when you mind your own business, sometimes people try to take advantage of you, and what happens, that person ends up on the floor in a pool of blood. I end up in the shoe. They transfer me to another institution. I basically, they transfer me to 9 different prisons.
9 different prisons. Wow.
Yeah.
And what changed in you during your prison time? Anything?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't need 17 and a half years to realize my mistake. And unfortunately, there's United States prisons are full of those people. They give those heavy sentences, especially for drug crimes. I know a lot of good people. You can see they are good people. They'll realize their mistakes. They don't need 25 years to realize they made a mistake. Give them, punish them. 5, 6 years, okay, but 25 years.
Yeah. And the problem is that the longer you're in prison, the harder it is for you to then adjust once you're outside.
Yes.
So the rate of recidivism of people going back to prison actually increases once the more time you spend inside the prison.
Because everything, as you mentioned, everything is stacked against you.
Yeah.
You get out, you're a felon.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to get a job.
Yeah.
So what can you do? I mean, you got to survive. And all of those people, especially if they get back to the same neighborhood, same environment, same people, they start, doing what they were doing before, dealing drugs or whatever.
Yeah, because it's their only option. And for you, so within immediately, as soon as you're in prison, you started changing. Tell me about that change. Like what happened inside you and how did you see your mistakes? What did you see as causing them?
Right away, I've seen, because especially as a Muslim, I started reading Quran, and many times I kept rereading passages about when Allah directly told us there's no gambling.
Mm-hmm.
There, He says in this specific passage, He said there's no alcohol, there's no gambling. And I'm thinking I had all the time, me and myself and Allah, to think, why? And I'm the perfect example why He tells us directly why there's no gambling.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't grow up very religious, right?
No.
That sort of...
No, not at all.
So that happened more in prison, that you became, you started reading Quran.
I was a Muslim only by name. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know what Islam is. I didn't know anything. Absolutely anything about Islam.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one thing when you mentioned, I was Muslim only by name.
Right.
And when I think about this, I had a lot of time to think about this during my time in prison. I was not different than all of those Serbs who were killing us. I had a different name. I was doing, if I grew up in that kind of environment, I would be drinking, I would be gambling, I would be fornicating, I would be doing all of those things that Islam strictly prohibits.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing. Only the different is the name, but everything else is the same.
Mm-hmm. And then once you came out, in your case, it was different because you weren't a regular prison, so you were deported as soon as you ended, or how?
No, I could stay over there, but I would have to go through the immigration court. I would have to go through all that process,
and you didn't want to.
And no, and I've seen a lot of people in federal prison. They go out, come back, go out, and as I mentioned earlier, all the odds are stacked against you. So if I come out, and even though I already had plans and everything, I'm like, the everything is stacked against you.
Right.
And when you personally see, people come out and after 5-6 months they're back in, I'm like,
I don't want this to be me.
No.
And so you decided you wanted to move back to Bosnia?
Yes.
And you can you travel to the United States if you wanted to?
Because I already signed all the paperwork.
Right, so you can't go back.
Self-deportation. Right. I signed all that like 2018.
Right.
They called me to the immigration court to try to fight my case. Because as a refugee, I came over there as a refugee. And I could stay. Yeah. Like Gypsy and his son, they stayed over there.
Mm-hmm.
They stayed. And I'm like, I just don't want to, I want to basically have a fresh start.
Right. Which is why you couldn't actually come to the US for this podcast, which is why we're meeting in Paris, because I'm here for work/pleasure. And this is why it's happening here. And so you're back in Bosnia. You're now, what do you do? Do you have a business?
Yes, basically in Arizona, I have a dispatch company.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what I do.
You run a company in Arizona from Bosnia?
From Bosnia.
Dispatching what?
Trucks and vans.
Huh. Yes. And is your mom still in Bosnia?
My mom
in Arizona?
Yes, my mom is still over there.
Wow. And you just recently got married a year ago, right?
Yes.
To a Tunisian
beautiful
woman.
Tunisian woman.
You told me before you started recording. And did you ever write a book or?
Yeah, in prison, while I was in prison, that was actually one way to actually relive all of those memories and put it in paper. And that was one way to actually get rid of my trauma and put it on the paper.
What is it called, the book?
Arizona Dream.
Arizona Dream. And it talks about everything that happened to you, including the heist.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Is it out? People can buy it? Arizona Dream. Next time you have to bring me a signed copy, please.
Actually, I have it for you.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I should have shown it to people. We'll make sure to put it out so people can see it.
It's in my bag.
That's great. Adnan, thank you so much for coming to The Hidden Third. Your story is so crazy. I think you were my first heist interview.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. Is there anything about your journey? I know you've become super involved nowadays also with trying to get people, warn people about gambling addiction, right? And trying to get, raise awareness towards gambling.
Yes, that's one of the things. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people, as my story gets exposed out there, a lot of people contact me with like they need help, they need advice. And I give them, advice from a personal experience.
Yeah.
And the first thing is, if you really want to help yourself, there's two ways. Either reach the very bottom, like me, where you lose everything, including your freedom.
Yeah.
Or you have to admit it to yourself that you have a problem, you need help, and seek it from those closest to you.
Right.
If you don't have control, control over your finances, your wife, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, who you can trust. Here, please help me. Here's my credit card. Here's my cash. Please help.
Yeah. Yeah. Because as long as you keep it hidden, it's going to continue.
That's why they say it's a hidden disease.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I would advise all of those people based on from my experience, by losing everything, including my freedom, by losing all of those people who loved and cared about me, I can say I figured a way how to actually beat the house. All of those people, all of those gamblers, they're looking for one thing. They're looking, as I mentioned in the case of Flecka and other gamblers, they're looking for a strategy.
To beat the house.
Yes, they're looking for a way. They're looking for a way to beat the house.
Yeah, to outsmart the casino. Yeah.
Yes. And after going through all of this, I figured it out. Don't gamble.
Yeah, that's the best way to beat them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great way of ending. Again, thank you so much, Adnan. That was an excellent, really interesting conversation. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.